Hi everyone, it's Norman Koshnick here. I'm here um, with some. I'm on a little bit early. Yes, the fact is that just quickly let's pull it up. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the reality is that there's been two dramatic matches here. Well, obviously the drama unfolding with the India versus England match. India doing very well. England defending a little bit there at the beginning with none for 25. They're still trailed by 70 runs. Um, England are none for 25, as it's trailed by 70 runs after the Indian tail wagged. Quite, you can't hear me. Why can't you hear me? RVS, can you hear me now? Yeah, what has happened to Australia today? Well, that's exactly right. Australia, there's one dramatic match, is the India-England match, but a more dramatic match is Australia have gone down in the third straight loss to Bangladesh. They couldn't get past a score that really they should have. They only were 1 wicket down at one stage, and they couldn't. They've only scored 117 off 20 overs, chasing 127. Obviously the Bangladesh bowlers have done pretty well, but it's quite a scary. I'm not only upset with the performance. It's a It's disgraceful. It really is disgraceful. I mean, I don't know what sort of side they've got. Bangladesh have won. You can't blame Bangladesh for this. It's great play. Bangladesh won. So that's Bangladesh scored 9 for 127. Looked quite like they were struggling. Young Nathan Ellis, who on his debut, the debutant, took a hat trick. Incredible start for him. Everything seemed to be pretty good. In fact, they Ellis took three, Zappa and Josh Hazell took two each, from run out. So it looked pretty good. In fact, the Australian batting lineup as well. Ben McDermott got 35, and Mitchell Marsh got 51, and they were at one stage one for. I think they were one for 71 at one stage, cruising. Rather slow run rate, but they were cruising, and then they fall away. And they couldn't muster 127. In fact, they didn't just fall short, they fell well short. They fell 10 runs short. In 20 overs, they could only score 117. Dan Christian stuffed around. Alex Carey got 20 off 15, which was admirable, but Dan Christian only got 7 off 10. And so Australia have lost the third game in a row against Bangladesh. So Bangladesh have won the series. Congratulations to Bangladesh. It's quite a first ever loss against Bangladesh in any format, 3-0, and it's it's rather staggering. It really is staggering. If you look at the side that Australia's got, Matthew Wade as captain and keeper in their batting, got out for one. Mitchell Marsh continues to get runs. He's doing quite well. Moses Reeks can't take a trick like Kerry. It's a bizarre side, really is a bizarre. Nathan Ellis on his debut, good on him, he got 3 wickets, but the team could not score more than 117 runs. It's disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. Anyway, that's one result which I want to say disgraceful. That almost implies that Bangladesh are just not a good side. Well, no, the reality is that they're a top 10 side and they deserve some credit for this great win, but I'm more concerned about the fact that Australia just doesn't know what they're doing. Matthew Wade should not be captain of Australia. Absolutely not. There's no merit in that. Alex Carey, who is captain of the ODI, should be captain of the T20 in the absence of Aaron Finch. Bring back Aaron Finch pretty damn quickly, I'm afraid. I'm not disappointed. I'm a bit shocked. But look, people thought they would come back. They were one down from 71. They looked like they were cruising. Mitch Marsh with Ben McDermott. They both looked pretty good. But after that, it has struggled. The last 2 overs, I scored, Mustafa Rahman off his 4 overs got none for 9. Quite incredible figures, actually. Very, 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 very economical. He got very, very well. Mahidi Hussain, they generally did pretty well, did Bangladesh. Yeah, so that's just I've been saying it all the way along that Australia's T20 side are abysmal. They've never really been good at T20, but particularly bad now. I'll be surprised if they make the top four, sorry, the top six. They'll certainly not make the semi-finals. Now yeah, let's go back now to the match between India and England. Now, India have done pretty well. I mean, again, um, Rahul's just played himself into a regular test ball with his 84 today. It was magnificent, really was. Punt got 20 odd, 25. He looked okay, but you look, Jadeja again has justified his position in the team by scoring a very well made 50. I think I know what he got. He got. I mean, it's good. Score. He was 50. Was it 54? Let me just confirm that. He's got 56 actually, so well made 56. He looked particularly strong. Tucker didn't get much. He got over a duck, but Mohammed Shami and Jasprit Bumrah 28, and Shami they gave it a good old crack at the end there. Even Siraj got 7 runs. The tail wagged. In fact, the tail they were at one stage 6 for 205, 6 for 205, all out for 278. So they put on 73 for the last 4 wickets. It's pretty damn good in a score of 278. So they were a full 95 runs ahead. And at this stage, bad light and rain combinations has been delayed because of rain, and it's now there's still potentially another half an hour before play will start. We'll see. We'll see whether any play will start. But quite frankly, it's been India's day yet again. So England were all out for 183 yesterday, as you would remember, and at that stage India were done for 21, and they've put on 257 today. And Rahul's 84 was magnificent. Really was impressive indeed. Punt didn't do too badly with 25. Jadeja 56 was invaluable. Then Mohammed Shami, Bumrah, and Siraj had put on the rest. So 278, 95 in front. Now the two English openers, albeit they're numbed down for some 20, I think it's 25. Yeah, they're 25. I think I'll just double check here. They're none for 25, it looks like. None for 25, well, that's an admirable start, but off some 11 overs. But they've been very scratchy. A lot of runs have come through the slips along the ground, mind you, but there's an edge. One was claimed to be a good shot. It was off the edge of the bat. That's not a good shot. So England scratching around the number 25. There's still good 70 in a rear. And if India get an opportunity to play again this afternoon, which even then they probably won't, you probably would have seen quite easily a situation where a few wickets will fall and India will be in the ascendancy. You'd have to think that India are in the ascendancy because they're still 70 runs behind, having not lost a wicket, but it's pretty certain that India are in a very good position. There's going to be a result in this match too. After 3 days, we're well into the third innings now, and fourth and fifth day, despite being somewhat rain, there'll be a result. So let's look at some of the commentary. Just like Kartik lost his spot to Dhoni, the same is going to happen to Ishan Kishan. What do you mean? I'm not sure. Let's get back a bit. I'll go back a bit. So which team is your favourite in this match? Well, clearly India. Bumrah is out of syllabus question for everyone. Okay. Big fan of Umesh. Can't believe he isn't playing in this one. Well, Umesh Yadav you're talking about. Well, I mean, you could say that about Bhuvi as well. India's missing genuine pacey swinger bowler in Umesh. Well, I don't know whether that Umesh Yadav is really the problem here. I think there's just not a lot of swing at this stage of the match, which is So, and why is it Vaja? No, Ishan Kishan is a newbie and he only good in the IPL. He's not playing today, and he's not he's not even in the squad as far as I'm concerned. The only people that are coming here from Sri Lanka, as you're talking, Ishan Kishan's not, but Sky Kumar Yadav is one player that's coming across with Prithvi Shaw. Sandeep Sharma like that comment. Bumrah's the new number 3 for India. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but Will there be any result? Half engineer, certainly. Why wouldn't there be? There's still two pretty much full days to go. There's no reason why you can't. A lot of you people look new today. Why don't, please make sure that you, I'm going to say this early, subscribe to the channel while you're talking to me. Don't just watch. Please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button. My @NormKoch is actually my Twitter and my so-called Instagram handles as well. So do you like Rashad Punt's batting approach? I do. I think there's a lot. He may not have worked necessarily today, but if he gets going, watch out. I think it's so. Please discuss the strength more. It is really necessary. Yeah, look, I don't understand this Australian side. At the weather forecast the next 2 days is intermittent, but it'll be more play than no play. Go on your Michelle Golf. Okay, so let's have a look here at the Australian players. I mean, Ben McDermott opening the batting did okay, but Mitchell Marsh, first drop, he's really on the outer, but he seems to be the only one surviving. Moses Reeks, I feel sorry for him. I do think he's worthy of being there, but he isn't playing well. Matthew Wade should not be playing in any form. He was dropped from the test side. His ODI form has been horrible. He's again got out for only one here. He's captain. I don't know why he's captain. Alex Carey should be captain in the absence of Aaron Finch. It's a mess. Where's Glenn Maxwell? Where's Smith and Warner? Where is Stoinis? There's a whole heap of players that are not playing here, which is really bizarre. Even Labuschagne, to be honest, has probably got better form on the board and probably deserves to go. It's better to attack. Okay. Love you, Mike. Gopal Vaidra, love your channel. Good. Well, I hope you subscribed. That's a bit the Pasati. I guess 3 in the morning there. You are working too hard. You deserve more. Yeah, I do. Yeah, well, it's okay. It's better to attack and getting out rather than defending and getting out. I agree. Punts, just let him be his natural game. Don't you think Smith should lead the team? Well, Steve Smith, it's a question mark about whether he should captain again. That whole Sandpaper Gate drama has tainted him for good, to be honest. Is this one of this dropping pitch? I believe it is. Most of them are. There's only very few grounds in the world that are now no longer drops. SCG is one that's still as it is. Vikram Rathore is a very, very good bowling coach. Yes. Buckle, Dada, you're right. You're totally right. So then, you're a grown-up woman. Why would you say that? What's going on here? What is the bit of that? What's wrong with him saying that? There's nothing wrong with him saying that. It's nice of him to actually think about me in terms of. I do appreciate the fact that people want to subscribe. If you're there, I hope England you've subscribed. So Bangladesh is unbeatable. You could argue with 3 matches in a row that Australia lost, and 120 odd. 127. How could they not get that runs? 117. They couldn't handle it. I mean, Bangladesh must have bowled pretty well, though. They must have bowled pretty well. So for Australia to get scores of 108, 120 on, and now 117, it's horrible. I mean, I don't know what's going on, to be honest. It's quite a mess, to be honest with you. It really is a mess. Matthew Wade averages 20 from his last years at a strike rate of 130 and 229. Marsh is just an individual not getting support, and Mars Labuschagne now should be tried, with desperation. Very well put, yes. How long do you sleep in a day? Look, I've slept. I've been watching the game, and I've slept earlier, and I'm just going to, once we finish, I'm going to sleep for the rest of the morning. So, no, I'm getting my sleep. So, let me just look here. The Australians, it is embarrassing. I hope you've seen acknowledge whether you've seen my community page, guys, because, I've been putting a lot of work into that. It's one of my proudest areas. I make sure that you get, up-to-date information all the time there, and that's what I like to do. So I hope you're seeing that. Meant to get people coming today, but nobody's in. That's fine. Okay, the time frame's very bad for Indian media. It's bad because it's now, what time is it in India? It's 10:30, 42. Yeah. So, who is your favourite batsman? You mean Ujjwala Chandra? My favourite batsman I mean, there's many batters doing very well. Root for England, obviously. When Ben Stokes is playing well, he's a great batter to watch. I do have a lot of time for, well, Warner, when he's in form, he's not bad, but he hasn't been in form for a while. Baba Azam, I have a lot of time for. Still have a lot of time for Virat Kohli. But KL Rahul today, wow. What a great effort he saw. Now Alan Malone and Chris Vernon will take a dig at Norman after Aussie's 3-0 loss. They probably will. And deservedly so. Your favourite is Buckle Della says his favourite is Rohit Sharma. He certainly is. He's very calm. The way that the Indian opening batters, KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, got 97 on the board, put them in the right position, even though they lost a few wickets after that. Then you had Jadeja bat well with Rahul, and obviously even Bumrah. 278 was a magnificent effort, really. 95 in front. Now, England have got none for 25, but they could easily fall for 150, and then it will leave a very small score for England to get. Yeah, I would agree that KL Rahul's 84 was magnificent. He batted beautifully. He let all the balls go that he had to, and then played well in the middle. So Pratrush Dahar, you're the young boy, aren't you? You're 15, aren't you? Aussie Test team for the T20 International World Cup. Finch, Warner, Smith, Maxey, Stoinis, Marsh, Carey, Stark, Agar, Cummins, Sampa. Pretty good side. I think that's a pretty good. Actually, that's a pretty good side, Pratrush. Put that on my comment section after. I think that's a pretty good. Finch and Warner, Smith. Well, Smith may not get in there, but Maxey, Stoinis, Marsh, Carey. I think that's a pretty good side. Rishabh Gupta is capable. It's after the World Test Championship. I totally agree. I would totally agree with that. It's a very fair comment. But yeah, I like that side. Actually, I really like that side. I have to make a note of that one. I think that's a good side. I think that's pretty well picked there. But that's not the side that's playing at the moment, is it? It's not the side playing at the moment at all. Not at all. Let's see what's I've got a comment here. So Nathan Ellis is actually in the Australian. He'll be interviewed. That'll be an interesting interview to see post-match for the Australians. But third loss in a row. They've lost the series now. So nice calmer drop from Maniac now when Matt got injured, effectively gets his spot back. Well, yeah, KL Rahul will stay now. And depending on how the match goes, which India looks like they're in complete control, there may be no changes in the side at all. Agarwal may not play the second test. It may well be that they'll be keeping the same side for the first two tests and give Rahane and Prajaran another go. But if one of those two fail into the second test, Agarwal will come back. One of those two will then be taken out and Rahul will be left in. And then you might even see other changes down the track. But at the moment, he won't be changing an Indian side unless they lose. At the moment, that's the truth. So, literally, watched a whole game of Australia over India. They're not able to manage slow pitches. The players like Jason Sangha, Smith for fitting in the game. I totally agree. Jason Sangha should be there. David Graveney, how are you?
Norman, how are you doing?
How are you, David?
I'm fine. Your beard's developed a lot since the last time we spoke.
Hello, everyone.
It certainly is. Reg Vernon, you've met Chris Vernon, of course. David, this is his father.
Oh,
hello,
Reg.
David. It's an absolute honour to be on with you. You're a legend of English cricket, sir.
Thank you very much. So is your son.
he's a lot better than I ever was, David. I've got to tell you. The only credit I can take for Chris is being a taxi service.
He doesn't call me an honour to be with it, so that's
I said, David, the only credit I can take for Chris is that I was a taxi service, as you know how hard it is to.
No. Parents play an invaluable part.
yeah, absolutely. What a day of Test cricket, guys! And it's a great test. It's been a great test, hasn't it?
Interesting wicket. Somebody's described a vegetable patch.
The ball's keeping a bit low. Did you find that today? That it seemed like when Siraj was bowling, the ball was
I haven't
keeping a
seen a
bit low.
lot of it, no one, because I'm doing. I'm scouting for our under-19s at present, so I've actually been at Worcester watching Worcester play Sussex.
Right.
So, we need some opening bats, David. Have you got any on your radar?
I think that's It's not easy. It's like a public execution. This is so.
It's been hard.
The Indians, and New Zealanders have proven that they are an A1 opening attacks. So, if you've got any flaws, we did have an old players' day at Gloucestershire a couple of weekends ago, Norman, and I sat next to Zahir Abbas.
Oh wow!
What a player!
Is an ex-Gloucester player, and he this is a person, all right. This is a stat for you, Norman. He in his career scored 4 times, 200 and 100 in the same game. All right.
Wow.
And all of them, all right, all 8 innings are all not out.
Oh my gosh!
So were you bowling it in, David? Did you bowl it in any of those?
Reg, I had a bit of a tactic when we practiced at Gloucester that he used to hit me from one side of the ground to the other, and I used to take a very long time to go and collect my ball. And by the time I came back, they had changed the batsman, so that was good.
Now, Reg,
he said, Norman, just to finish off, he said he thought the standard of batsmanship around the world was in a very poor state.
I would agree with that. Totally. Look at the Australian side. My God, they got defeated, the 3rd defeat in a row by Bangladesh just now. They couldn't score 127. They scored 117. They've had 3 very low scores, a completely disorganised batting lineup. Matthew Wade capped them when he shouldn't be. There's so many bad things. Now, before I forget, Reg, did Chris get David Graven his hat and his memorabilia stuff, or the souvenirs from my...
I don't think we've had any deliveries from Australia, Norman, in recent times. When did you send it?
The original lot that I sent was meant to be split between you, Munchie, and Chris, as well as David. So, David, you're supposed to have this hat and other things coming your way.
I would wear it with honour.
David, can I ask you a question? Me and Norman have been having a slight disagreement in the last couple of days, and I thought you might have been involved in this. Norman is of the opinion that Alex Stewart only played for England because his father was chairman of selectors, and that's the only reason he got picked at all.
Is it?
I'm a massive fan of Alex Stewart. I met him.
To correct you, Reg, Mickey was never ever chairman of selectors.
Correct Norman, please. Correct Norman.
He was the coach for a period of time, in which time his son did actually play for England.
Yeah, but then were you chairman of selectors during Alex Stewart's career? Yeah. So you were involved. So he wasn't a bad player, was he, David?
He basically balanced the team. He really wanted just to open the batting and not keep wicket, and it took a bit of time to persuade him. Actually, if we were going to do anything any good, he needed to bat 5 or 6. Which he reluctantly did. So,
and he made himself into a fine keeper, didn't he?
Yeah.
By sheer will.
If you ever get to speak to him, ask him a question. Ask him who dismissed him in both innings of his debut for Surrey.
I have a feeling I might know who that was.
You are correct.
A little bit of flighty off spin, David, was it?
Flighty left arm spin. Caught, slipped and bowled for not very many.
But hang on. I'm still going to claim that Alex Stewart, his dad helped him get selected. Is that right? Or
he was a good player. He got 15 Test hundreds, Norman. You talk absolute nonsense. You really
No, I'm going to stick by my story. It sounds good.
He's a gentleman of cricket, Alex Stewart. He's a fantastically nice guy.
But he was in a group of players that... And Alec, I think you're right. He's fantastic He captained the team very well in the period of time he did it. He was a very underrated wicketkeeper, actually. People just thought he just wore the gloves and that's it. But he was very, very good at what he did. And as a batsman, he was a proper international player. So.
Yeah, I agree. It's Norman who doesn't know anything about cricket, David. That's the problem.
Well, that just hang on a minute. I think it was a good rumour that went around Australia around the trucks that his dad helped him get in the team. Well, nothing wrong with a good rumour like that.
No. Never let it get in the way of the truth, Norman. That's the one thing.
Did you get to see any of the cricket today, David, at all?
I just followed it on my iPad. I was actually with Richard Dawson, who used to be
Yorkshire spinner.
Right? Yeah, he's the one who bowled that wide half volley at Sydney, the last ball of the game, to get Steve Waterby get 100. So I thought was exceedingly generous of him.
Is that the fantastic Jonathan Agnew commentary? Have you heard?
No,
Test match
I
special?
think it was. I don't know. No one would know this. Steve Waugh got 100 at Sydney, which I don't quite know what the significance of it was, because he got lots of hundreds. But the last ball,
well, he scored 100 on the last ball of the day's play.
Yeah,
that was significant.
And I think Jonathan Agnew was commentating on Test match special, and it's just a brilliant bit of commentary. Agnew, I mean, it's just brilliant to listen. Test match special is always brilliant to listen to, isn't it? I mean, it's an
well, the reality was that it was thought of that Steve Waugh maybe on the outer selection wise, and to just prove that he scored the century, and on the last ball of the day, which was quite a dramatic.
But it was the widest half volley you've ever seen, really. So it was like saying, "Where would you like the ball to be, Steve, so you can hit it for 4?"
Well, Norman wouldn't have hit it, David. He would have probably got out to it, Norman.
Well, having had Steve Waugh on the show about a month ago,
lots of catches being dropped today, Reg. Is that right?
Sorry, say again.
I hear there's a lot of catches being dropped in a Test match.
There was one first and second slip, and in the outfield as well. And in their inks 278s, they were 95 in front. KL Rahul did a fantastic job getting 84 under the circumstances. He and Rohit Sharma had a 97-run opening partnership. And quite frankly...
I've seen what's happened before, including the two wickets and 2 balls. But I would imagine that both sides needed a bit of a team meeting before, with somebody walking into the room and saying, "This is a red ball, chaps. This is actually what you're going to be facing for the next 5 days."
The catch that cost us, I think, was last night. The Sibley catch at second strip. That was KL Rahul. They would have been 120 for 5 overnight.
Yeah, and there's still a long way to go. You know, if you, I know it seems a long way for England to get down that road. If I was sitting in a dressing room, I would be saying, right, what is the minimum number of runs that India would make their knees wobble a bit?
180. 180,
yeah, 180, 200. That would be enough.
But England have to get to that point. That means they're going to score 200.
That means they're going to get 300, Norman. That's the key thing.
No chance. No hope. I wouldn't have thought.
But you know what, though, Reg? I was a bit disappointed with India's bowling just then. They were falling for the same trap that England did in the first innings. A lot of short balls were being bowled or fairly ordinary deliveries. Bumrah was not at his best in the second innings so far.
What did we talk about constantly in the lead up to the Test? You look at the overheads in England most of the time. And that session, it was sunny for quite a long time, and it didn't swing. The minute the overheads come over a bit gloomy, it was doing all sorts, and batting became a completely different kettle of fish.
And also, actually, Reg, it's been quite windy today. So that would also
Broad pulled out of his run up about 3 times at one stage because of the wind.
So this is a match where the bowlers are under pressure because the expectation of teammates, media, crowd expect them to knock them over. So everybody following it in India would be expecting the same thing to happen. Then you've got various batsmen within the England team thinking that they're playing for their positions.
Yeah, they are.
But I would have to say there aren't too many people. Well, because nobody's played any red ball cricket. there's nobody knocking on the door to say that there's obviously some batsmen been included because of the bubble scenario, but I wouldn't say there's people queuing up to get in the team.
With Stokes out for a period of time, that gives us a balance problem, I think. Would you be keen on seeing a spinning all-rounder, maybe Ali or maybe even Liam Livingstone coming in to balance, to give us?
Well, you can find a wicket that spins in this country. That would be fine.
Well, it might spin at Lords, though, David, mightn't it? I know traditionally it hasn't been a big.
If only caused by the rough, but you are playing against the most accomplished batting side of spin in the world. So you
are brave to go into a test.
But what's wrong with Sam Curran as the all-rounder, though? He's batting. He's a particularly good all-rounder.
Who's that? No one.
Sam Curran. You know Sam very well.
Yeah. I just
couldn't he be Ben Stokes?
Our itinerary as such is that even if we had a stock of spinners, and I think Joe Leach is a really, really good bowler. I think Don Bess needs to be nurtured. He's only starting his career as a spinner, but they've had no cricket. They've had no cricket for weeks. So actually, Joe Root could do an equally good job bowling spin as the other two.
So you think that if the weather is reported for next week is going to be hot and sunny in London, so the Lords will be in fine form for the pitch, you would go into a 5-day test without the frontline spin?
You've got to have a spin option there.
I think you have. I can't. So that gives us a problem, doesn't it?
The Indians have been really, I think, well, the proof of the pudding is what happens over the, obviously, stating the obvious, next 3 days. But I think they've been pretty clever by playing Jadeja rather than Ashwin, because Jadeja is a type of batsman who can take the game away, which he's done today. You know, his knock at that position, and Norman and I have spoken about the Gilchrist effect, the Pant effect. If you don't get these guys out, they will take the game. Stokes is the same, and actually Curran, I fully expected that partnership to go on for a bit longer. The way it was going.
Jimmy got an absolute beauty, didn't he?
Yeah.
And Broad's lost it.
Yeah, so Sam Curran did get 27 not out in the first innings, and he had 4 and 6 in his innings. He was on his way. It was very punt-like.
He was doing a repeat of the last time India were here, where he smashed them all over the place.
Exactly.
They would have remembered that.
But if we look at the selection, David, then for Lords, if we bring Jack Leach in, and I have a feeling they'll think of Mark Wood for a bit of pace at Lords as well, then that give the selection. We can't have that sort of tail. We just cannot leave ourselves with 4 or 5.
I think that even India and even Australia have moved to a 5-man attack, because the proximity of a test matches, the gap in between, means that the bowlers just don't get a break. So
yeah.
Well, in England, they've got a four-player. They've got a 4 bowling attack, haven't they? Really, they're lacking a bowler. Joe Root and Dan Lawrence were not really the 5th bowling option. Even though you said Joe Root's not bad, that's not a bowling option. Truly, I think they have lacked an extra bowl in this match. Don't you think?
They have, but I think the way talking to people who looked at the wicket, didn't quite understand it. If there was a really good grass covering, why would you want to bat first? So
crazy.
Well, he looked at the weather forecast, David, didn't he? He thought the best day to bat was going to be day 1 because the forecast was.
You know, if you play Edgbaston, you'd always bat first, as Ricky Ponting found out in 2005. What damage that did, him and Australia, fortunately. So
yeah.
But they're there's a long way to go in this game, actually.
Yeah. I think Ollie Robinson's made himself undroppable, hasn't he, David? Ollie Robinson looks every inch the next cab coming through to take over the mantle in the bowling attack.
His record in domestic cricket has been outstanding. Fully deserves his opportunity. He obviously had a bit of a blip in terms of social media, but he is a wicket taker. So
he looks good, really, really good.
And I can show you what will happen is that people will start saying, well, Stuart Broad ought to be left out or whatever, and he'll take 6 wickets the next innings after that, which is what he's been doing.
Well, it was a great five for Robinson today. It was his first five for him. He deserved it. Anderson bowled particularly well as well, but they didn't finish it off the tail, did they? Whereas Bumrah did when it came to India's bowling. So there is that distinct difference of 78 runs for 70. I think it was 78 runs or thereabouts,
which is unusual for India, But that is the. And obviously, Bumrah's been having batting lessons.
Did you see it? You should have seen it, David. I cannot remember the last time I saw an international side just come out and have a slog. It was literally the last. It did work. I'm not saying it didn't work, but it was a complete slog.
You need to go and see some footage when you were about 5 years old.
Oh.
And I was playing without helmets. When you came in from 8 down, you played a few shots. Then the opening bowlers would, like somebody like Len Pascoe, would fire one straight over your head and say, right, I suggest you play a few more shots, otherwise it's going to be a bit lower, like at your head. So,
where's your son, Reg? Where's Chris?
He was playing a charity golf day today, and I would imagine that he's gone training because they've got a big game tomorrow against top of the table Tunbridge Wells. So they got
So what's Norman? What's your time is for tomorrow?
What the actual broadcasts?
Yeah,
there's two broadcasts. There's a pre and a post.
I'm around morning and evening. So.
Well, the pre will be on roughly
I'll be around in the morning, Norman, if you want me to.
Okay. Well, from about 9:30 tomorrow, your time, which is fine. What?
Yeah, probably not in the evening because that's post the Lions rugby, Norman. So I might not be in a good condition at that
stage. Well, you might be in firing form. You might be in fine form. Okay, you're both going to gloat about the Olympics. England have finally gone past Australia in the medal table.
Finally,
it's taken the entire Olympics to get to that point, but you've finally got past us with one gold medal or more. Quite frankly, Australia's done fantastically well.
They have, haven't they?
They have. We need one more gold medal to be our best ever gold medal haul. Just one more.
That's not without dominating the swimming pool, has it, Norman? Because they haven't done
that. Well, they did dominate the swim.
Have they?
Well, and I've got the story about Emma McKeon, who got 7 medals, 3 gold, 1 silver, and 3 bronze. Her father, Rod McKeon, I went to school with. Morris Brothers Pagewood, and he was also Olympian level. So I'm very proud of the way they've done. Actually, they've done fantastically well. So, but yeah, okay. England are in front at the moment, as Reg was saying, gloating. Keeps sending me screenshots, but I mean, I never did that to him. Of course, I admirable the way
There was a heartbreaking footage today. I know you wouldn't have seen it, David. On the modern pentathlon, which we went and won gold medal.
No, I've heard about it. I didn't go to
the German.
The German rider crying because the horse wouldn't. That seems ridiculous.
They get to meet their horse 20 minutes before they ride. 20 minutes they get with the horse. The horse is given to them. They don't know the horse. And the German girl was in the lead in gold medal position. And the horse got spooked and just literally ran through the fences about 3 times, wouldn't jump.
Oh my God.
She was in tears trying to ride this horse. And you could hear her crying as she was trying to ride the horse. And it was heartbreaking. She went from first to last.
No.
It was.
Did she hurt herself?
No, she didn't. The horse just wouldn't perform.
The horse just ran off, Norman. So
she couldn't control it, and she tried to get it to jump the fence, and it just literally ran into the fence 3 times on 3 different fences.
There'll always be a few heartbreak stories. Well, a lot. Yeah. But at least they've staged it, Norman, because that never looked as if it was ever going to happen. So.
So just quickly, there's people making comment about Adil Rashid. Now, he's a short form specialist, but could he play Test cricket?
He has played Test cricket. Now, this my view is, first of all, he made himself a white ball specialist a couple of years ago, and I think he's retracted that statement. He definitely does struggle with his back, Norman. So, to bowl long spells, as spinners are expected to do. But I also think, and this is a real layman's view, is that the white ball is much more difficult to pick up in terms of leg spinners and googlies and whatever. If it's a red ball, you can see the seam moving around.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know.
Well, the white ball has that traditional black mark that comes very quickly
but it's
around the
difficult.
ball.
It's just difficult to pick the type of delivery, and I think, and Adels is actually, if there's a key person in the attack, he is the one. He is the one that Morgan goes to, take wickets, bowl at the end, not a seamer, it's a spinner, and invariably it works perfectly. But I do think that, and also if you can't pick the ball, if you're bowling against people who can't read leg spin full stop, then that's a perfect scenario. So, and in essence, when he's bowling limited overs, he does bowl some leg spinners, but you can spot them quite easily. What he does bowl is top spinners and googlies, which are incredibly difficult to read. So he's a top player. But to answer the question, playing Test match cricket, I don't think physically he'd be able to do it.
It's interesting you say that because our Australian bowl spinners, that except for Nathan Lyon, we're suffering from injuries quite regularly now. It was the legs. I've forgotten his name. I've just lost his name. He was earmarked to be our next leg spinner, and he's had stress fractures of his upper back.
That isn't Swepson, is it?
Exactly. And I think even Adam Holyoake talked about it. Remember, David? He talked about it previously. He talked about.
No. Well, the two guys who made a really good, strong start to your domestic season, one was Swepson, and the other one was Cameron Green.
Yeah.
And Cameron Green, I would say, in the Australian team, is probably becoming the most important player in the whole team because he is the one who links. He balances the team. He does like Ben Stokes does for England.
But the reality is Australia's batting lineup, other than Labuschagne, this is in Test cricket, other than Labuschagne and Smith, we're horribly lacking middle order batsmen. Horribly. Travis Head is no longer there. Matthew Wade should never been selected in the first place. How Matthew Wade is captaining the T20 side that have just lost 3 matches in a row is beyond me. Alex Carey was recently picked as the ODI captain as Aaron Finch was injured. Why wouldn't you then put Alex Carey to be the T20 captain as he's been made the ODI captain because he played the T20 match? And Matthew Wade over the top has been keeping and captaining and been shockingly bad. There's so many.
Hand it over to your new convener of selectors. He's going to have a baptism of fire next
George
week.
Bailey. Oh yes, yeah. George Bailey. He was a great guy, by the way, and is a very clever man.
As is Trevor Holmes. He was.
Yeah, they both
are. Man. Yeah.
But what's going on with Australian cricket, David? It's an absolute mess. Their T20 side's a joke. Why did Matthew travel? Not Matthew, Maxwell, I should say. Beyond me.
Yeah, they've got some issues, but Ashes series always seem to galvanise them for some apparent reason, which I'm sure will happen. So, and I would have to say, Norm, I wouldn't dismiss the effect of the bubble that people are asking people to do mentally. I know that mental health has got a lot of press, which is quite right, but these guys, the cricket teams, they're having to be locked up for long periods of time, which does make it very difficult for them.
I mean, Ben Stokes is the best example of that, isn't he? His mental health state must be attributable to, okay, his father's passed away, which is horrible. It has affected him, but also the overall bubble would have added to that pressure, surely.
The bubble, and I think, he is a really brave cricketer for all the things that he does. But when you break an index finger, which I think it is, let's say you're a finger spinner and you broke your left hand, on my hand, my left index finger, which happened to Ansari, and that also happened to Yardi, and you end up basically with a stiff finger when it heals. You can't play. You can't bowl spin again because the ball doesn't sit comfortably in your hand. And I think the hand injury was a lot more serious than people.
He was struggling, David, with his finger. Norman wouldn't have it when I was trying to tell him, but he was struggling Stokes with his finger.
But hang on, he played the T20 and ODIs just recently.
Yeah.
Why would he have played those? Was it just because he was
because he was asked to come back early?
I think he answered the calling, Norman, but probably in hindsight, that was probably a mistake on his part. But, anyway.
But Joe Root has come out and said he's particularly worried about Ben Stokes' state of health, and I'm talking about his mental health.
I don't think he said that. He didn't quite say that, did he? He said, "I hope I get my friend back well again soon."
Yeah,
that wouldn't be based on an injury to his finger.
But he didn't say I'm particularly worried. He just wished him well.
That comment is not about his finger.
No, it's about.
I think he's worried about him as the whole package. Norman, I think. Norman,
yeah, you can't misquote him quite like that, Norman. It's not.
He's had a tough time.
He would never come out and say something quite as definite
as Maxwell appears to have a tough time. I could be really cynical and say, actually, when the IPL is replayed, or the second bit, how many people are going to stand down with saying they need a rest? I doubt there'll be very many. So,
well, there's no doubt that Warner, Smith, Stoinis, and obviously Maxwell are all sitting at home because they're about to go to their pay packets of the IPL. Also, Cummins hasn't been around as well, and all those guys have made pretty pennies out of the whole thing.
I think Cummins needs to manage his body first off, because if you don't have your three seam bowlers next winter, you're at a massive disadvantage then.
I don't think Stokes will go to the IPL or the 2020 World Cup. He might try and make the Ashes.
He's got a young family, Reg.
Yeah.
Sometimes you quite rightly, you put those people forward. So, Norman, I'll be back here at 9:30. I just need to
tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.
I've just walked in the door. I haven't said hello to anybody. Just come straight on the call.
I'll send you a link for the book tomorrow morning. Okay?
Yeah, if you send us an email, Reg, it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you, David. Thank you for coming on and being brilliant as always.
He's a top guy, David. He's a lovely bloke. And he enjoys being on the show, too.
He's amazingly humble for a guy who was a top cricketer and a very, very influential member of the England setup for a good number of years. I think we're very lucky, and I'm humbled to have shared a platform with him, Norman.
Well, he's become a friend of the show, as you know, over a long period of time. He obviously enjoys his time here, which I'm very proud about. We were quite cheeky with him early on. He wasn't quite used to the cheekiness, but he's gotten used to it. Now, partner's been messaging me. She just woke up. She's coming.
For you to pop round, Norman, or
no, we won't. She's going to be on the blower very soon.
Let's talk about the cricket here, Norman. I've been looking at some of the messages. One, I'm going to say to Crick Legends, what world are you living in? Kohli will not be dropped, and anyone who thinks he's going to be dropped is madness. So you need to wake up, Crick Legends.
Look at the way that India are playing. The fight back at the tail end. Did you watch Virat Kohli? He was signalling to players. They were looking to him. The players on the field, that is. The Bumrahs, the Shamis, even Jadeja's and Punt, they were all looking to Kohli. The significance of Virat Kohli as a captain off the field is immense.
We have, Norman, 64 people watching that, it says on my tablet next to my screen here. I don't know if that's right or not.
Yeah, we had about 100 a short while ago.
Let me say this. Ravindra Jadeja is a proper bloody cricketer. Rishabh Pant is a bloody slogger. And if he carries on batting like he did, I've said this before this test, if he carries on batting like that, it's awful for the Indian side. All right, it's box office for the 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour he's in there. Jadeja showed him how to play properly. And he's a great player, Jadeja. If Pant just comes in and just has a moo at it, great, he got 25 quickly. But it wasn't proper cricket.
What he did do was he destabilised the bowling somewhat when he was in there.
Who stabilised the bowling? Who stabilised
Even Punt.
That's guinea pig. Second ball last night, he ran down.
Hang on. Do you want me to go through the? Do you want me to go through the England batting line? I'll go through the England batting line right now.
I'm talking about batting, Norman. I'm talking about how they batted.
But look, England, India were 95 runs ahead of England. So let's not turn away from England. Dan Lawrence has dropped.
Oh, England were poor. I'm not saying England weren't poor. I'm just saying if Rishabh Pant carries on batting like that, he has got no future in Test cricket.
I don't agree.
You can't just come out and slog it. I'm really sorry. Look at the way Jadeja batted.
Okay, Jadeja batted fantastically. I've got a lot of praise for him. But
he's a super player.
Adam Gilchrist often got out cheaply when he was playing, but then he would turn around and score a magnificent 150 when they needed it. Punt's got that ability. I'll tell you what, he really does. He's a rough diamond, I must admit. But
he's a rough diamond. If you watched his innings today, it's just he's number 6. He's batting at number 6. He should, if he's going to bat like that, he should bat number 8 or 9. It's no good. It's just I hate it. I hate seeing people with talent bat like that. But there we go. That's I know it's going to upset our Indian viewers, and I don't want to upset them. I'm just going to call it as I see it.
No, but I just love the Indian team today. The guts that they showed to get to 278. Actually, despite the fact that Anderson and Robinson bowled well,
they got away with it a little bit, Norman, didn't they? They had a bit of a slog at the end, and they got some runs. Good, well done to them. But it could have gone the other way. It could have been a 30-run lead, couldn't it? So,
but I'm going to say it again. It's very significant. If you replay and have a look at Kohli and the relationship of someone like Punt, Jadeja, even Shardul for a short time, Bumrah, they all looked up to
maybe Shardul got 0, didn't he? And he didn't get any runs. He got done.
No, but I'm talking about the relationship.
I understand.
Kohli
You're only guessing they're looking at Kohli from 90 yards away, Norman. They could have been looking at Ravi Shastri, couldn't they? Or Rahane. You don't know.
No. I'm afraid you have got it wrong. You don't understand that Kohli's influence is immense. He has been out. This is his 62nd Test match as captain, the most of any Indian captain ever. Okay, and he has got a 59+% winning ratio, only beaten by Steve Waugh, Graham Smith, and Williamson currently. No other captain has got anywhere near that percentage of wins.
Yeah.
Actually, Mike Briley did very well too in his time, but overall, in terms of winning captains, Kohli's right up in the top 5. That says a lot.
The interesting thing about Mike Briley was he wasn't actually good enough to be in the Test side.
He did his job though.
He picked purely as a man manager and captain. And I've got a great stat for you, Norman. This is an interesting stat that I think our viewers will be interested in. In the decade, the 210 to 220, the Indian 3-4-5 the average of their numbers 3, 4, and 5 over that decade was 49 point something runs on average, which was number 1.
You're talking about Laxman, Ganguly, Dravid, aren't you?
Kohli would be in there, wouldn't he? Pujara would be in there at the end. A whole decade, 210 to 220.
Yeah.
They averaged. They were the number 1 rated 3, 4, and 5, and they averaged 49. In the decade of the 220s, I know it's only a couple of years, couple of seasons. They are averaging the same 3, 4, and 5 are averaging 27, which puts them at the bottom of the list. Now, there's a question that has been up on the screen. A guy keeps putting up about Pujara. He's under a lot of pressure, isn't he? He's not scored any runs in the last 2 years.
Pujara and Rahane.
Kohli hasn't scored any runs in the last 2 years either.
But he's not going to be dropped, so he's out.
No, he's not. I'm not suggesting that. Don't get me wrong. And I don't think they'll drop Pujara. But the captain isn't under as much pressure as the number 3. He got a good ball, by the way, Pujara, didn't he? By Anderson, that was an absolute beauty.
But he played in front of his pads, and he twisted his bat. It wasn't good technique.
No, he didn't play it brilliantly well. And
Rahane, the reality is, it's more that it's not just Pujara and Rahane not playing well. It's what's coming up behind. Agarwal should be in the side. He would have played despite being hit by Siraj in the nets.
Well, he would have played in front of KL Rahul.
Exactly.
So Rahul got 84.
KL Rahul's going nowhere. He's staying in the side now. I'll tell you now.
But I think they've got a bit of an issue at 3, 4, 5, 6. I think Jadeja will come up to 6 if I was captain, and I would back Pat maybe at 7, which is a little bit more leeway for him if he wants to go in and just have a hit.
I actually think. Look, we haven't seen the end of this test match yet, and let's assume that India win. KL Rahul will stay in the team.
Yes, he will.
The question is, will Agarwal come in for the second test match, or will he not? Because he was.
Pujara, you think? Or would you open with Agarwal and move Rahul down?
What I'm suggesting is Agarwal will come in to the side.
To open?
Well, it's where you would imagine he was going to go, and Rahul will drop down. Someone's going to have to give. And that's going to be either, I actually think personally, Rahane is in the most trouble. I really think Rahane is in the most trouble.
I think 3 and 5 are in trouble. Only not because they're good players. I think they are good players. I think probably just because of they haven't been scoring the runs. I like Rahane. I've got to be honest. I like him. I think Pujara is under pressure. So
yeah, but the thing is, it's not Agarwal, it's not Prithvi Shaw or Sky Kumar Yadav coming here that are the problem. It's KL Rahul that said, right, guys, this is the way you bat in England. He was you have to admit, he was sensational. His 84 was picture perfect English condition batting, letting the ball go, playing the ball
really well,
playing it late, playing it under his eye under his helmet. He played appropriately, and that's the key to India. Kohli, if I'm not wrong, will continue to nick the ball if he doesn't let it go. He has a propulsion to never let the ball go. Pujara does normally let the ball go, but he's having trouble on the stumps itself. Rahane, I don't know what's going on, but
bear in mind with Rahul, Norman, that he should have been caught last night, and it would have been 112, 114 for 5. I know shoulda, woulda, coulda, but he was only on 30 odd at the time.
Yeah, but the reality is,
and it wasn't
technique. The length of his innings.
Technique was
the length
good.
of his innings was fantastic.
I
the
agree.
way he played his innings.
I absolutely agree with you.
And actually, I think people are not giving Rohit Sharma enough credit as well. He's extremely calmly influencing his opening partner. He was in the ear of Rahul as well out there. And Rohit Sharma's presence is immense. Even though he tends to get out for 30 or 40, I know
he does, though, doesn't he? He tends to get out in the 30s a lot.
But hang on a minute. He opened the batting and had a 97-run opening partnership. You can never discount that. I don't necessarily think an opening batsman has to score big, but if they get to a total of 97, 100 or thereabouts as an opening partnership, they've done their job, in my opinion. They should go on with it, yes, but they've still done their job. So I think I'm very impressed. In fact, Shubman Gill is going to have to count himself very unlucky for being injured because he's out for the series. He may have lost his opportunity in the short term because Rahul, if he continues to play the way he is, he's got an opening position there for him, or at least in the team. And
there was an interesting stat on Jimmy Anderson today, Norman. I know you think he shouldn't be playing. He should be putting his feet up.
Hang on, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Absolutely said that.
Stop right there. I'm going to clarify that. What I actually said was that he has to finish on top. That doesn't mean he shouldn't be there. But to finish on top.
He shouldn't be playing. He should have retired.
He's just gone past Kumble.
Put some messages up, guys.
Do you think Norman wants to go past Warren?
Did Norman say that Anderson should have retired already? And Broad, both should have been retired.
On top.
Well, he took 4 for today. He owed an absolute beauty at Kohli first up. But anyway, listen to this stat, Norman. I'm going to ask you if you know, if you can make a guess. They put on today how many drop catches has Anderson had off his bowling in Test cricket?
Sorry, say that again. How many
drop catches has Jimmy Anderson had off his bowling in Test cricket?
Apparently enough to double his bowling, his wicket-taking efforts.
Well, that would be a lot. It's 95. 95 drop catches, which would put him. I know everyone has drop catches, but that would put him up to 700, wouldn't it? 720.
I tell you what. I love to see that stat because I know Dennis Lilly is the opposite. When he bowled, he had incredible fielders in the Australian team. Ian Chappell, Greg Chappell, and the slips. Rod
Can
Marsh.
you put Sai Krishna's just the last message up, please, Norman, on the screen? Sai Krishna obviously knows what he's talking about.
Yes, number top. Sai Krishna, where have you been?
Thank you,
Sai
Sai.
Krishna's been on since
Norman
day dot.
absolutely said that
Sai Krishna only comes on. Sai Krishna only comes on when pretty Upala and bloody Chris Vernon's on.
I don't blame him for coming on when Pretty's on. She's absolutely beautiful. And they're right about the England drop catches in the slips. Suman, you're right. I saw the stat as well. They are pretty much bottom of the pile. Rubbish.
You know, there's another player that's been quietly not talked about is Vihari. Vihari is of a Pujara style and has a lot of ability too, and he's in the squad. So before we start throwing in other players, really Agarwal, let's have a bit of selection of respect here. We can't throw all these other players in every time. In a pecking order scenario, Rahul's jumped and he's done well. Agarwal's there and Vihari. They're the two that really are meant to be the next players to come in. So we'll see what happens there.
Norman, let's say hello to Monica Arbouche, who's just come on and said hello to us. I hope you subscribe. I hope everyone who's watching subscribe. It is free. It costs you nothing to subscribe. It's absolutely free. And what it does is it boosts the subscriber figures, which helps Norman's channel. As simple as that.
It's more than that. It's just it provides a real reflection of who's on.
Yeah.
Really, why you want people to subscribe is you want to know exactly how many people are actually on, because people are on that. They're only 5 to 10% of the people that watch subscribe.
Yeah.
So 90 to 95% of the people that watch.
It's free.
I've got a stat that shows that.
I think when you see subscribe, people think that there's going to be a cost or there's going to be something to their
membership. Membership is a cost, but not subscription.
Yeah, subscription is just free. I want the people on the comments just to put down for us, Norman, who they would have batting number 3 for India in the next test. Can I ask?
Well, there's already been discussion about Vihari. Vihari's one of them.
Because I saw someone put Sky up there. I can't see them putting Sky.
No, Sky's not going to. Sky can't. I see
him as very much a one-day 2020 specialist. Really, I'll be surprised if they put him into the Test match arena. I would be very surprised.
This is what I want to hear. Sir, should I tell you a secret? Pratush JHA is about 15 years of age, and he wanted to come on the show. He wants to be a broadcaster. Tell us your secret. The other, Explore the Internet, which I love that name. Explore the Internet. He's also asked, is popularity of cricket decreasing in Australia? I'll tell you what, it's decreasing if Australia keep playing the way they are at the moment. 3 losses in a row in Bangladesh, scores of 108, 120, 117 is awful. I don't care what the pitch conditions are like. I'm very curious because the young fellow, did you see that Nathan Ellis took a hat-trick?
I didn't see it, Norman. I was just celebrating that
Nathan Ellis, his first ever T20 match. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I haven't heard of him before. Came in today and he took a hat-trick. That's pretty remarkable. The first person ever to get a hat-trick on the
Mitch Marsh, who you'd have sitting next to Anderson and Broad on, with their feet up. He got runs again, I think.
Yeah, but he's not a first-drop batter. That's how desperate they are. He's doing okay. I'll give him that much. He is doing okay. Has the young man said what his secret is?
No, I didn't see it. So we've had a Pujara at 3, a Sky at 3, and a Vihari at 3.
But see, look, again, having spoken to Neil Harvey on a number of occasions, as what David is, a true selector does not change teams every game. So, with respect to the team that's there, this team will not change the second test match.
I think England might make a change sooner rather than later. I think Hamid will be given a go. If Burns or Sibley don't get some runs, I think that they'll
have Sibley, not Burns. Burns deserves to be there.
I like Burns is more. Look, Burns can actually score runs all around the wicket, and he's a little bit more positive. He started slowly.
And he's left arm, right hand as well.
And he's got a little bit more about him. And also, Norman, he's potentially the future England captain, Rory Burns. He's seen as a solid.
Really?
He was captain of Surrey, and he's seen as a very solid captain, very good captain.
Is that right?
So, and Root can't go on forever. He's already gone pretty much past the most captain see of any England player ever. I think he
so it looks like a partner's about to come on. I get a message saying leave it because she's got 2 sections going on.
It's 4 a.m., isn't it?
Sorry?
It's 4 a.m.
It is.
It is. Poor Aparna. I'm sure she's going to look as beautiful as always, no matter what time of the night it is.
Good morning, Aparna.
Hello, how are you?
We're putting Aparna
just coming out the nightclub, Norman. Look, she's just been out clubbing and she just walked in through the door.
Well,
Aparna, it's nice of you to join an hour late.
I just got out of bed.
And David Graveney was here looking for you as well.
Oh, really?
David was on for what, 50 minutes, 45 minutes?
Yeah, no, I missed him.
I've actually got David on tomorrow too. He's coming on the preview session, which is great. But I'm going to get excited about this though. I've got a more exciting. Well, it's not more exciting, but tomorrow at 10 a.m. Australian time, I'm going to be crossing live to Tokyo to the Olympics with Buriya Majumdar, who is the doyen of Indian media in terms of the Olympics. He has got every bit of memorability of the Olympics that India's ever been involved with. India have actually won 2 silver and 3 bronze, 5 medals in total. They've done very well. The hockey, both the men's and women's, I think they went close to winning medals and that puts them 4th in the world. It's fantastic. Australia, of course, will return to 4th probably tomorrow after they win a few more goals. They'll knock off England and Russia. No, they won't. In fact, Australia's dropped to 6th.
Think England ladies won the bronze today in the hockey, Norman? I hate to say that with our Indian fans.
They beat India, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm sorry to say that. Aparna, did you manage to see any of the test today? Did you manage to watch some of it?
I've been watching from last 2-3 days now. I mean, it's been good.
It's been a good match, isn't it? It's pretty exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, what happened to England batting? That's been the lowest.
India's batting or England's batting?
England.
I said before the test that our batting's poor. We're poor at the moment. But I thought Ravindra Jadeja was a class above with his innings today.
Yeah. But it's been the lowest in the first one. I mean, today, obviously the most uninvited guest in England, rain.
It's the forecast isn't great for the weekend, guys. We've got to tell you.
But hang on, we've had 3 days. We're into the 3rd innings. We're going to get a result here.
Well, the forecast for tomorrow and Sunday is potentially not great either. There will be definitely delays.
Yeah, but we've been saying that about the World Test Championship in this match. We've got a result out of all the matches, don't we?
Well, that went into day 6, Norman, bear in mind. They had to go into day 6.
Yeah, but we're going to get a result.
Yeah, well, I hope so. And I think the result will be India to win. Why? Sorry, Batsy boy. England should
do you realise
the batter side?
Part of the session we had, the day before, I had got 19,000 people watch that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't because you were on, Norman, obviously.
In fact, it was just me. You came on later, Reg. But 19,000 people. Now, Aparna matched that. We're going pretty well now. We've got about 3,000 or 4,000 watched already with this one.
We've been asking the question, Aparna, of who you think should bat for India at number 3 in the next test. There's been a real split of opinion from the viewers. What do you think they'll make a change or not?
Well, it's been so far so good. I mean,
so far so bad for Pujara, Kohli and Rahane. None of them.
Yeah, I mean, after all the talk in the build-up to the series. You don't
play for winning side. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but after all, all the talk in the build-up to this series about India's non-wagging tail. I mean, I think it's been really, really good. They've come across, Rahul, who couldn't quite build on his second drop chance, helping Jimmy get Kumble. Fine. I mean, Thakur, he's an all-rounder. I mean, he's done good. Ashwin has been out. I mean, that was very, very shocking for a lot of people. I mean, why would you keep him out? So I think the management has taken different sort of decisions this time, and they should stick to this.
It's working.
Yeah, exactly. It's working.
don't you think Jadeja's proven his worth in this match so far? Certainly with his batting.
So
I think
so
we've
far, I
said
think.
constantly that we think he's a really good cricketer. The problem is that if you're picking the best spinner, then you're going to pick Ashwin because he's a better. I think he's a better spinner. But I think that they picked Jadeja here because they didn't think spin was going to play a major part in the test. So they got him as a. He was into bat. He was in as a batter.
Yeah,
Extra
he's
batter.
made 56 runs. So
It was brilliant. What a great innings! Didn't he bat well?
I love the way he swings the bat when he scores his 50.
It's great.
Like a sword. I love that.
David Lloyd said when he did that, if I tried that, I'd dislocate my wrist. Very funny. David Lloyd's a very funny.
Yeah, with a cricket bat, for God's sake, that's pretty bloody hard to do. Are you following these comments, Reg? We're getting plenty of them.
Yeah,
and they're talking about this pitch. I mean, the pitch has been much slower. So,
is it that
you
slow?
know, I mean,
I don't know. It's a bit
They
of
kept
bounce
low
around.
today. They kept low.
A little bit, but it's day 3. I guess there's been a lot of weather around. It's not. It's been the overheads, not the pitch that's done it. It's been when it swings around that's been the problem.
True.
I want to
yeah,
ask
and
you,
England's
if I
batting
can,
not playing any luck for them
Let me
after
ask you
Ben
about,
Stokes went out.
Yeah, let me ask you about Kohli's captaincy, Aparna. Mohammed Shami was probably the pick of the bowlers in the first innings, although Bumrah took more wickets, but Shami was excellent. And yet, he didn't get given the new ball. They gave it to Siraj. I think that was a major mistake by Kohli doing that.
You think it was a major mistake? Why would you say
the best
that?
bowler the new ball when he's a new ball bowler?
It seems to be that they've interviewed.
It seems. Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
No, so I'm saying.
They've interviewed Ollie Robinson today on the media. They've just come out, and that would have been, he got a 5 for, which is worthy of noting. But was he the pick of the players? Do you think James Anderson was a better bowler today than Robinson, or what?
No, I think Robinson bowled well today. I think Robinson's bowled well the whole test, actually. He's
I know.
his
I'm not saying
stats
he's
are
bowled well
pretty
in the test. I'm
impressive.
not saying that. But I'm saying to you that the way that Anderson bowled, you've got to give credit to that. There's no doubt about that.
Robinson and Anderson were streets ahead of the other two. There's no doubt about that. And Root recognised that, didn't he? He gave Robinson got him to open the bowling yesterday after the break, and he did it this morning. He opened with Robinson again instead of Broad. So Robinson's the coming man. If that's expression that's understood. He's going to have a few years of Test cricket in front of him. I think he looks extremely good.
So, do you think he'll be the so-called how can I put it? Will he?
He'll be the natural replacement,
a frontline bowler.
Yeah, he is. I think. Who knows in any sport? But he looks the business. God, he bowled some good deliveries today.
He did, and he's got this certain amount of gusto about him as well. He's got a bit of, I like what he does.
I like him giving it a bit to the batsman. I like that. I know that they try and clamp down on it and he'll get a match fine and everything, but you want to see a little bit of bite between the players. Fine, it doesn't go over the top. The game's all about that, isn't it? Anderson's celebration when he got Kohli out. That's what we have to see that in cricket. The game will die if you take away that emotion and that passion. Anderson got the world's best batsman out first ball. You saw what it meant to him, didn't you? You absolutely saw what it meant. And the same way when India were taking the wickets, you've got to have that passion in the game. Without it, we've finished. The game's gone.
Was there a bit of a run on about 20 odd years ago for the name Ollie? Got Ollie Pope, Ollie Stone, Ollie Robinson. Was Ollie? Was it? Were they trying to say Aussie? Were they trying to say Aussie?
Yeah, I think so.
It's Oliver, isn't it? It's a popular name. Now you're going to have, they've got a load of Harrys and Georges coming back as well because of the royal family. They're coming
so
back.
Ollie was Laurel and Hardy, wasn't it? Laurel.
Oliver Hardy. Yeah, you remember them, Norman, don't you, in the 1930s?
I was not born then, thank you very much. But
you just mentioned them, Norman. I mean, you look a bit like
Have you heard of reruns? You watch TV, it's reruns. Doesn't mean they're on bloody live, for God's sake. Just because I've got this fisherman's beard going on here, I rather like it. Apart, you were supposed to upload the Steve Waugh video. What happened to that?
Well, I'm actually waiting for some
waiting
other
for a blue
channel
moon
to
or
do
something,
it.
or what?
No. I'm actually waiting. It's going to be used by some other channel, so I can't broadcast on my channel first because it doesn't make sense.
What?
Norman, we'll talk outside the live stream.
Okay, all right.
Norman, there's Pratush JHL is putting on a comment.
He's a young 15-year-old.
Well, I'm going to answer him here. To this point, I understand that KL Rahul hadn't played any cricket and he was dropped from the Test side, and it's unfair that he's got his place back. Yada yada yada. He got 84. For God's sake, he's justified his place. Doesn't matter whether it was a little bit tough on one of the other players that he got picked in front of them. He got picked in front of them because he's got experience. He's a quality player, and he's shown it. And he got 84.
He's taking his opportunity big time.
No one can argue that he shouldn't have been in the side when he's gone and got the highest score in the Test match so far. It's a stupid argument, and you can't justify it. He scored 84 and he batted beautifully. You know, how can you say he didn't deserve it? It was unfair that he was in the side. Well, it might have been unfair that he got picked in the side, but then he goes and gets the score, and it's a brilliant pick, isn't it? You know, it's an odds, and he's going to be opening in the next Test, I would have thought, unless they drop him down to 3 and open with Agarwal.
No, okay. I don't think he's going to. I think that he will drop down the order. I think that they will put Agarwal in front of him, but they may not do it for the next Test, though.
I don't think they'll do it next Test. I think they'll stick with it. I think they'll stick.
Yeah, you should, out of respect to all the players in both teams, you should play the same team in the first 2 Tests. Even England should do the same. Hamid may come in the third, not the second. I think, in all fairness.
Yeah. I think India will make a change for Lords, though. I know this game isn't finished yet, but I think that they would need to bring Ashwin in at Lords because it will probably turn, and the weather's going to be good for London.
Do you really think so?
Well, I think if it's going to be dry and it's a 5-day Test, then I think you need a frontline spinner. And I like Jadeja, don't get me wrong, but I think Ashwin's a better spinner. And I don't think they'll drop Jadeja. So that means that one of the batters probably means Thakur will go. I think they'll go with the 3 seamers, Ashwin and Jadeja, their preferred bowling attack at Lords.
But I mean, look, I'm going to say this again and again and again. I do not think people understand the significance of not changing the team every damn game. Horses for courses. I believe that you need to keep the same
horses
team.
For courses, you just said it, Norman. If it's horses for courses, you've got to pick the best side.
No, I didn't say horses for courses. I said it shouldn't be horses for courses all the time.
Okay.
It should be actually a situation where while we've talked, I've just written up the media conference and I've just posted it. How good is that? The reality is that I think they need to pick and stick more and more. I think that Agarwal was injured. It's his unfortunate luck that he missed out. He will come into play in the 3rd Test. They're going to have to give Rahane and Pujara another Test. Okay? And Kohli. And now Rahul's batted well. He's in there. Rohit Sharma's clearly in there. Punt and the like. Juday's going to be given another Test too. I think you won't see a change. In the bowling lineup, the only change will be if there's an injury or they want to be able to bring in Ishant Sharma perhaps. But I think that'll happen probably in the 3rd Test. I think India will get a lot out of having the same side, especially if they win. That's my thoughts.
I think it'd be a mistake. I would say to Pratush, saying
you also said that Ashwin should have been inside when I was very persistent with Jadeja. Look what Jadeja's done.
Well, I think Ashwin's a better spin bowler. I think he's one of the world's best. I think he's probably the best spin bowler in the world, isn't he?
Well, I think he's better than he will. His stats, if he keeps playing, will be better than Anil Kumble in the end. The trajectory of his matches.
How many wickets has he got? I'm not sure. Has he got?
I think and recent got past Anil Kumble to become the 3rd highest wicket taker.
Correct.
In Test cricket already. Yeah.
621 is right now.
Do you think?
Yeah, but I don't think Ashwin will get that far, will he?
No, I don't think so.
Hang on. Ashwin, in terms of the number of Test matches he's played, to his stats, he will kill it.
No, but he won't, Norman, because I think he's 200 odd. I think he's 200 odd behind. Can
you check how many wickets Ashwin's got and how many tests? I think he's got almost 400.
Yeah, but Kumble's at 619, and I think I'm right in saying, and we will be corrected by our fantastic viewers. I think Ravi Ashwin has already spoken about retirement and the next phase of his career, hasn't he?
No, he hasn't.
Are you sure, Norman?
It's the absolute opposite. He's actually squashed those rumours. He may not play all formats. He may give up the short form. That's for sure. But he'll be playing he'll play Test.
Oh, here we go. 413. Someone.
So 413.
So he's
out of 79 matches.
So he's got to get another 220. If he takes 35 a year, that's going to take him 8 years, isn't it?
No.
It's going to 220, 200 wickets at 35. 35 a year is good going, isn't it? 35 Test wickets a year.
But okay,
that's 7 years, isn't it?
Okay,
that's 7 years.
He will beat Kumble's record. He will beat Kumble's
7
record.
years, Norman. How old is he? He's 33 or 4, isn't he?
No,
I think
he's
30 something.
It's going to take him 7 years to get 210 wickets.
No.
Anyway,
here we
go.
I've just released the media conference of Ollie. It's
Ollie
Robertson, Ollie Stone, Ollie bloody everybody. How many Ollies are there? There's 3 Ollies.
He's 34. If it's going to take him 7 years to get another 210 Test wickets, which is about right, I think, he'd be playing at 41. You retiring?
Oh, isn't that a shock? Someone playing at 41.
How
old is Ashwin currently.
Anderson's 39 going on 40. What are you talking about?
Ashwin currently is the world's second best ranked Test bowler. So I think he can do it. I mean, if you look at it, how many...
I'm sure he talked about moving on a little bit. I'm sure I saw him interviewed where he talked about the next phase of his career and maybe only playing for a couple more years. But I might be wrong on that. So
look, he's a great bowler. He's a better spin bowler than Kumble. I think he's the best spin bowler India's ever produced, to be honest with you. I mean, the Bishan Bedi back in his day was a great spin bowler. So was Prasanna. There were some great bowlers there. They didn't play as many tests. But he's right up there. I tell you what, he's right up there. I think he's too busy doing his podcasts and YouTube channels at the moment.
I like Pratush. Did you say he was a young man, Norman? Pratush, JHA?
Yeah, 15.
Well, I think he's...
Pratush, JHA. I thought you... Did you want to come on the show, Pratush? Just message us because he's young. We might bring him on the show. I might send him a link.
Well, come and give us some stick. If he wants to come and give me some stick, I'm a big boy. I can take all.
Bring him on. Yes, he says yes. Okay, what did you send me your email before, Patricia? Send it to me again. I think you did send it to me. Did you send me an email, Patricia? Did you send? Can you send it again?
Before you came on, I was talking about Rishabh Pant's batting, which I thought was atrocious today. I know you're a big fan, being an Indian, and fans are. But although the comments on here, I'm looking at the messages, they're not 100% happy with the way he batted either. Do you think he needs to rethink his game a little bit, or do you think he's just going to come out and swing every Test innings like that?
Oh, I think he's just probably has to get his head straight, right? He's got the game. He's shown us in Australia, obviously, especially in Test at Gaba. I mean, that's the most when we want it. So give him some time, I think. I mean, we should just not judge too quickly and put that...
I've been watching him back quite a bit.
But I think India should be able to come good in this Test anyway. So we are good on that level because that's a record that India has never lost a Test match in England. On occasions, they have achieved a first innings lead.
Is that right?
What a great
stat. Of 75 runs or more. So people have been saying that it's a wrap up, more likely.
I didn't know that. Is that right? Andrew Ingle has said Rishabh Pant is 7th in the Test ranking, batting rank. Is that right?
He is.
Well,
in 5 years' time, you'll be saying, "Oh, Western punter champion." You'll be saying it. Trust me.
I'm telling you now, there is no way Rishabh Pant is the 7th best batsman in Test cricket in the world. That is
no,
Did you
he
see
can't
the
be
Gabba?
possible.
The significance of his innings at the Gabba? Are you kidding me?
Fine. You can look. I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying that if he bats like he did in this innings today,
he has not batted
awful.
that long enough.
It was awful. Second ball to Anderson when they've just lost 4 wickets. 4 wickets for 10 runs. He ran down the wicket and slogged one, took a thick outside edge and went out over backward point. Terrible cricket. Absolutely shocking cricket.
Pratush, can you send me the email again? But I'm not judging him as he is. Can you hang on?
When did justice and fairness ever come into any sport? Really? I mean, KL Rahul got 100 in the warm-up match. So he was the only batsman in the Indian squad who had any sort of form going into the first test. Agarwal got hit in the head and was out. He would have played. Shubman Gill would have played. Agarwal would have played. Rahul is an opening batsman by trade. Opened the batting last time they were here, 2018. Is that right? I think he did. I think he owned the batting. How is that not fair that he got the nod to open the batting? I think it was I think we all predicted it, didn't we? In the pre-show, Norman?
Yeah.
I think we all thought he was going to open the batting after the injuries and having got 100. So
look, KL Rahul has shown true mettle. He's come in there and he knew he had to perform, but he's shown that he was sort of always been there. And I was always doubtful about why he was dropped in the first place. He's shown his truth.
Well, I imagine he got dropped because of lack of form, Norman, and probably lack of runs. You don't tend to get dropped unless you're Jeffrey Boycott, who got dropped having scored 276. He got dropped. Did you know that, Aparna?
But I think you'll find that the reason why he was dropped was he was getting pigeonholed as a one-day player. Actually,
he got dropped for batting slow, Boycott. Andrew Ingal, I'm not doubting the rankings. I'm saying what a load of rubbish they are. If that's can anyone on the messages or anyone on here tell me that Rishabh Pant is the 7th best batsman in world cricket? Because he's not. so the rankings it's just not. I mean, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying.
Didn't you see the Punt Mania videos that I got 200,000 people viewing? It was about Punt Mania. It's significant.
Yeah, and look, in one-day cricket in 2020, his absolute box office.
Now, hang on a minute. 4th test at the Gabba, his innings was player of the match around guys like Shardul Thakur, Washington Sundar,
I agree,
and Siraj, and even Natarajan. They all played.
Did he go out and slog it like he did today? Did he just go out and just throw the bat and just have a big moo at it? I don't know.
Producer's giving it. It's just current form, sir. Oh, that's a bit of a slap. Producer, give me your. Can you send me? Did you send me an email?
Come on, Norman. He doesn't want to come.
It was a terrible, mix-up with Virat Kohli and run out. So we can give him on this one. Let's not judge that quickly. I think.
Yeah.
Give him another go. Still, we have second innings to play. I mean, hopefully, I think we're still trailing by 70. So I'm not saying it's going to be that terribly bad, but hey, anything can happen, and may it be if the weather doesn't get cleaned up. I think, India might not even get the second innings. I don't know.
They may not actually look. I know that both Rory Burns and Sibley are playing for their life at the moment in this innings, and they're playing very doggedly. They haven't played one attacking. They haven't played one good shot. They've played one flicked Sibley play. The rest of them being the edges.
Burns played a couple of nice shots into the covers, which I think got fielded.
Hang on a minute. A shot to the covers and field is not a good shot. There's no run. But they fist pumped each other when they edged the ball through to the third man boundary.
The way I batted, I used to fist pump everyone if I edged or got any runs.
Yeah, those two are survived though. If they lose their wickets very quickly, I tell you what, they're going to fall apart. I reckon. They're done for 25 at the moment. There's 70 runs being in arrears. They won't make 150, and India will be batting for a couple of runs.
We've got some good comments, Norman. And we got the.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe Pant doesn't get a chance to come, but you know what? This was a terrible mix-up, so let's not judge him on that. And actually, when Australia was not expecting in Gava, he came and pulled the pants down. So let's hope that doesn't happen with England.
There's no pun on the word pull pants down, is there? Pull pants, pull pants down. Anyway,
I'm
Australia,
sorry we've
are
disappointed
now-
Sandeep, Norman. We've disappointed Sandeep K on the messaging because he wants Chris on. And I'm sorry that we
this is
disappointed.
Chris Vernon's father, Sandeep K. This is Reg Vernon here. Chris is somewhere. He's playing golf and
He had a charity golf tournament today or something, and then he'll be
Munchie? Get Munchie on. We had a go at him earlier.
I told you, Munchie has an estate to run. He's got a massive, great 400-acre estate down in the Kent countryside, and it takes a lot looking after.
400 acres?
Something like that. Yeah.
Lord Vestey had it.
That's the same size as his waistline, Norman.
Actually, Lord Vestey died. I didn't know that. He's the man that took care of me a few years back, 8 years back, actually.
I don't think a partner will meet Munchie.
When we go to England, we're going to stay at Vernon, Chateau Vernon. We're going to stay there. We're going to stay at Chateau Munchie. And we'll go.
There's plenty of room for a partner to stay in my house, Norman, but the bedrooms are a bit small for your girth, I'm afraid.
Are you saying?
Oh my God, Norman! That's a straight no.
I'd have to reinforce the bed springs, wouldn't I, Norman?
I don't think so.
So Angel is saying we just watch and wait. We have 3 more Saywags, Pant, Shaw, and Pandya to come in. Pant, Shaw, and Pandya. Well, great. Look, guys, Test cricket is a different thing to 50 overs in 2020.
So
it's just a different game.
Centuries against England. What are you talking about? Rishabh Pant is the next big thing. He's not the next big thing. He is the big thing.
I'm not 100%. Saying he's not a good player. I'm saying that he came out.
Hang on, but you said that he isn't a good player.
I said before the Test match that if I promise you, I said it more than once, that if he carries on just coming out and having a slog, it's not going to be any good. He's come in this innings, he got 25, and he slogged it. You look at his innings. If you have a look back at his innings, he just came in and had a slog at it. And he's better than that. He's got to be better than that.
I think when he scores 100 off 50 balls in the next Test, what are you going to say then?
I'll say, well batted, he had a slog at it. And he got away with it. He's got a great eye, clearly. But those shots he was playing against Jimmy Anderson were just horrible. And he will get out. And I think he did it. Didn't he do it in the World Cup, the World Championship against New Zealand? Didn't he come in and just have a big Yahoo at it and got out?
So Gareth Bunker also agrees when he said Punt is India's highest run getter in 2021. Slogger better than blocker. Well, I'm afraid that's stats which are pretty damn significant, considering Rahane, Kohli and Pujara not getting runs.
I'm going to say to Andrew Ingle here, am I doubting Shiwag and Gilchrist's way of playing? If you are seriously equating Rishabh Pant to Virender Sehwag and Adam Gilchrist, you have not watched any cricket ever in your life.
Hang on.
Sehwag was a fantastic
Sourav Ganguly,
cricketer.
Aparna's idol, and her sister's idol is Sourav Ganguly. In fact, they've got a poacher of Ganguly on the ball. He thinks highly of punts over the next 10 years.
I'm sure he does, but you can't equate Sehwag and Gilchrist to Pant. Gilchrist was the best keeper batsman there's ever been.
What?
Adam Gilchrist is the greatest keeper batsman there has ever been.
No doubt. No doubt. He would be inside. Yes, you're right.
And he didn't come out and slog it. And Sehwag scored 2 or 3 treble hundreds.
What you saying? Gilchrist didn't come out and slog. He did. He was notorious hitting sixes in the first over.
He was a quality batsman.
Gilchrist. Yes, he did play some great shots. You're right.
Quality batsman. I'm not saying that Pant isn't any good. He's clearly got great talent, but he can't come out.
Munchie's joined in on the discussion.
Munchie's. I can read what average half inning compared to playing. Well, the moving ball is a hard thing. You sometimes just got to. Sehwag tended to play without moving his feet an awful lot, didn't he? It was just great hand-eye coordination, and sometimes in England that's pretty tough to do.
I tell you what, you got some competition here. Sunday K has been watching punts since he was under 19 days. He can play.
I'm not saying he can't play, but why does he come out and slog then? Tell me why he comes. Someone tell me why.
You know,
when you've got
it's so
four
funny
wickets, Go on.
how one game or one, you know, in this cricket thing, in this whole fraternity I've seen, one match, you're not a hero anymore. I mean, thanks to his many moments of generous, you know, year that has been for him throughout. I think, I mean, let's not forget his contribution in, as I said, Sydney, and then later in Ahmedabad as well. So it's just very,
And his
I think,
presence as well.
unrealistic. The numbers, naked numbers, don't tell the tale. And especially, he got 25 runs out of 20 balls, and it was an honest mistake between Virat Kohli and him that needs to be sorting out. Other than that, I know how stupid it was, but still, you know, he's got the game. He's shown the
You
whole
talk about the run
year.
out.
It's been a very
The
generic.
run out was Rahane. Rahane and Rahul was the run out.
No, Virat Kohli and Pant.
They didn't bat together today. And this, are you talking about another game?
Yeah, no, Virat Kohli
only lasted one ball. It was
Virat Kohli and him last round, obviously.
You mean Rahul?
Yeah. Sorry, I think I missed the name.
That's okay.
So you know,
Gary Banker Norman, just to cheer you up, thinks it's gone up on the comments.
Judging on 25 runs.
Hunt is a better player than Gilchrist. Already better than Gilchrist.
Well, the reality is Gilchrist,
fantastic cricketer.
He was the best keeper batsman ever. Anyone puts him aside.
Gilchrist.
But give Punt 5 or 10 years and we'll talk. Then we'll start comparing.
I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Gilchrist,
let's not compare.
anyone who knows anything about cricket, oh, what a player.
Well, what about Butler? Butler doesn't exactly block. That's a good comparison.
He doesn't. All I'm saying is watch the innings that Pant played, the shots that he was playing. It was awful to watch. It was just awful. But there we go. He'll come and score runs. I'm sure he'll score runs. He's a good player. But if he just pulled it back and just, this is Test cricket. This is not 20 over cricket.
We've had close to 10,000 people watching in the last half an hour, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
it's because of my good looks. Not a part of it. My good looks must be the reason.
Yeah, what? Come on, Norman.
Who do I think? Explore the internet.
Well,
Who do we think the best batter is?
He's only 23 years old. He's very young. I mean, if you look at it, he hasn't even played many matches. So, you know, you settle in, you should get more chance. And obviously from this one, how terrible shots he was playing, but he could be the next future of Indian cricket team, as he could be the next possible Virat Kohli. He plays very aggressive, same level of game that Virat Kohli does. And, you know, Indian cricket team has done very well under Virat Kohli's captaincy, which is why I think Saurav Ganguly is in favor of who's the head of BCCI at the moment, is in favor of getting Pant and giving him the chance that he needs to actually then embrace into something that they possibly see he can be worthy of. And I definitely think that he's actually the shadow of Virat Kohli. He could be definitely next upcoming captain or
Pant as good as Kohli as a batter.
No, just the same style of playing. You know how aggressive Virat Kohli plays, and you know you need that aggression in the game.
I can't agree. Virat Kohli is a world-class quality player. Will go down as one of the greatest batsmen of all time, and he plays proper quality cricket shots. Pant just has a slog at it. And
I think there's been the last couple of performances. Pant's been very aggressive. Yes, he's been over. He'll have to temper that down. You're right, but he
in
can
this
bat.
Test match, Norman, 97 for 0 to 112 for 4. He came in after they'd lost 4 wickets for 15 runs, and the second ball he faced, he ran down the wicket to James Anderson, took a wild yahoo at it, and it went over backward point. Second ball.
No, okay. I'm not going to discount that fact. All right, but I don't think. I think let's move on from Rishabh Pant. We'll agree.
I'm just putting it out there that, and that someone just came out and said that Ben Stokes is a bit of a slog. He's a slog. That's rubbish. Ben Stokes he bats. He's a proper batsman. Ben Stokes.
Okay, but Rishabh Pant is a proper batsman too. You wait, and he bats well.
Yeah, well, let's see it. I hope we see it. Someone asked the question, who's the better batsman? Is I think Babar Azam is a lovely batsman. He's up there. He's got to be up there as one of the best batsmen in the world at the moment, isn't he, Babar Azam?
Williamson is the best batsman at the moment.
Williamson and Azam's probably number 2 on current form, I would guess.
Yeah,
just
but you've got to look beyond just current form. You've got to look at overall form. Okay, let's get back to today's match.
Yep.
It was an intriguing match. James Anderson bowled particularly. Stuart Broad was not at his best.
His average this year in Test cricket is something like 38. It's his worst ever. I know it's been a shortened year and it's a strange time. But yeah, I think they might leave him out at Lords. I think Mark
Wood will go in.
I think Mark Wood will play. And bowl to unsettle the top 3 Indian batters a little bit. Wood is constantly bowling at 92 miles an hour, give or take, and that's tasty by any standards. And they might play Mark Wood. We'll see.
Well,
okay, but
I'm just going to say to the audience, do not write repeated comments because it just really confuses. I mean, we'll take it, we can see it.
Yeah.
So please, guys.
I keep looking. I tell you, so I keep looking. I'm looking at the messages. When I look to the side like that, I'm reading the messages on my tablet. So I apologize.
No, I'm actually trying to pick up the comments, but because I'm reading the same one about 10 times.
Pratyush obviously didn't want to come on and defend his position, Norman. He's obviously not brave enough to come in and have a discussion.
Patricia JHA, could you send us the email again? I've lost it. I'm trying to watch the show and be a part of the show and find it. I'm not doing a very good job. Okay. Suvam Gariola, if you subscribe, you're a new name to me. Norman, can you tell why most of the current batsmen have high stances in their bats? In the T20, it's okay, but in tests, I think the way that Pujara, KL play, the bat stance close to the ground. I have a very strong point about this. On an England pitch, on English pitch conditions, you're playing the ball late and under the helmet, under your lid, correct? So that is encouraged by a bat being on the ground more than up. So I think it actually suits the batting style of Pujara and KL Rahul, where the bat's down, is true. But Crawley, Burns, Sibley are not those. They bat with a bat quite high. Now, I don't understand that because I know it's a sense of that extra second they've got to put the bat up. But I think a batter like a Pujara in general, Rahul and a few of the others, where the bat's down and not going very far is the technique you should adopt on English wickets. On Australian wickets, where the ball's bouncier and short, having it up has merit because you're less likely to bowl Yorkers. You're going to bowl of a length which will be generally going over the top of the stumps. In England, the ball doesn't go over the stumps as much. Your bat should be down more than up. I agree with what you're saying.
I agree too, and Williamson is by streets the number 1 batsman in the world at the moment, by streets ahead. And if you see the way he played and the way his technique is, he does exactly what Norman's just said. Exactly what Norman just said.
But then I'm particularly perplexed, even though Steve Smith and Labuschagne have batted very well over the last few years. Labuschagne's just trying to copy Steve Smith. The bat's all over the joint. It comes down to the right position at the final point. But technically, Steve Smith and Labuschagne are flawed. But they tend to do things right at the last minute. But it's one of the reasons why Steve Smith has struggled on occasions, and even Warner's struggled on occasions on English pitches. Broad and Anderson found them out, is because their bat's not down quick enough. It's actually up in the air. And I think that's a batting technique failure in England. And having played in England myself, the pitches there warrant the bat being down.
Did you make double figures in any innings, Norman?
I certainly did. I beg your pardon. My 2013 series, I had a number of good scores. Okay, Ripley Castle.
What, 12, 10, 3 not out?
No. I know my batting technique. Thank you very much.
There's a question here. I would like Norman, if you can answer for you. Norman, what's your opinion on, I'm not sure who it is. Linton Das?
Linton Das is the Bangladeshi. Am I right? Linton Das?
Where is he?
Explore the internet.
Explore the internet.
Yeah. Norman, what's your opinion on Litton Das? Well, he'll be the next Virat Kohli. Actually, there's a number of Bangladeshi batsmen. I think there's a number of Bangladeshi batsmen who deserve to be given credit. Litton Das, I think, scored a double century on his first match, or at least a century. He's prolifically scoring centuries. He's not given the same amount of credit as they are. There's 2 or 3 batsmen for Bangladesh who really have got potential. They've scored big runs early in their career. They just don't get the regularity of playing against top sides. They play top sides in T20 and ODIs, but not Test cricket.
Yeah,
I think there's a difference there. The Bangladesh have great quality in their play. They've got a great a Bangladesh Institute of Sport, which I visited myself 2 years ago, where Janatul Shimona, who was on the earlier show. You were with me with Janatul? Reg before?
I don't think I was. No.
That was earlier today. She was on my show.
No, I couldn't make it this morning.
Yeah, well, she was on the show today. The Bangladesh Institute of Sport have got a great. That's a school of cricket. They learn maths, English, and cricket during the schooling. Anyway, Litton Das is fantastic. He potentially could be a Virat Kohli. Yes, you are right.
The problem they've got, of course, in Bangladesh is that the pitches are low and slow. And the minute he comes out and he comes to, say, England or South Africa or Australia, he's going to have a bouncy ball. And it's going to be a foot higher on him.
The more he gets to those conditions, the better he will be.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to expose himself, get out there. I would say Linton Das should come over and try and play county cricket here and develop the game against the moving ball so he can develop his technique. A lot of the great players always did that. I mean, it's changed now, but the county cricket system back in the day had some of the best Test players in the world came and played and got experience.
Well, Shakib Al Hussain, don't forget, is still constantly ranked the best all-rounder in the world. I think he's still up there now, even though he had that year in purgatory, didn't he? He was in purgatory for a year or so. Oh, I'm absolutely ticked off at the Russian Dickwella sentencing. What was it, 2 years? You get more for murder. Why is he not? The Russian Dickwella is an absolute gun, and he's just not been given a fair go. He scored
pretty tough sentence, that.
Awful.
Well.
Anyway,
Norman, I have to interrupt you guys. I'm gonna take a leave. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning here.
At 4:48. What are you doing at 4:44 in the morning?
Well, you know, I had my jab day before yesterday, and I have been feeling really sick. I mean, whatever the symptoms are. So I've been really taking Panadols and stuff. I mean, I took the Astra jab, and it's really harsh on body for some people.
But you liked it so much. You took 7 jabs. Is that right? You're now addicted to it?
No, well, you know, Norman, you're 90 kilos. So same jab for you is different for a 45, 50 kilo person.
Are you suggesting there's more layers of fat to get through? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, but sometimes it's harsh on the body. So you might not have felt any symptoms or after effects, but I have.
I've only had my first.
Was the needle this long? This long?
You know what? I'll tell you something. When I had my jab, they had 3 needles. They brought in the first one. The girl said, nah. Brought the second one, nah. The third one was a whopper. That was they gave me the
They use that on bulls normally, Norman, don't they? To inject bulls.
Honestly, the lady came out 3 times. Nah. Oh, this one. It was this bloody big long thing.
It's lovely to see you, Aparna. Will we see you tomorrow?
Thank you. Good to see you too. I'm probably trying to join earlier. I mean,
but hang on,
feeling better for the last few days. That's what happened. Sorry about that. Sorry?
You can upload the war video?
Yeah, we talk about the not live stream. As I said, there's some channel distribution issues right now because I had committed to some other channel to give it to them, and I need to have a final word with them before I can release on my own channel. So,
right.
Yeah, so we'll have a word. Let's not discuss on live stream. You just give me a call in the morning anytime, and we'll have a word for sure.
Well, it's 4:46 in the morning now.
Yeah, well, I'm not going for a jog. We're in lockdown, and as I said, I just had the jab. I haven't been feeling very well from last few days. That's why I haven't been able to join.
Okay, all right, so, thank you for joining us.
I'll let you guys go.
Cricket Conversations with Aparna Saini is also a part of this.
Cheers, Aparna. Take care, darling.
Thank you.
Garrett Banker says, Now I'm going to block Garrett Banker. He said, I need a tranquilizer. I'm not a bloody hippo or a bloody rhino or something.
I'm going to go to a couple of questions on because I need to go soon because I've not eaten and it's late here. It's 8 o'clock at night.
Oh, it's late there. It's 4:47 in the morning.
Well,
here.
But it's dinner time for me. And rum and coke, obviously. Ishmael Khan. I think we've talked about the world's classiest batsman a lot. I mean, a lot. I think that Kane Williamson is streets above, not only as a batsman, but a leader and a human being. I heard him interviewed this week on another podcast. He's a top bloke. He is an absolute top bloke, Kane Williamson, and he bats beautifully. I don't see at the moment anyone near him. Babar Azam, I think, is number 2 in the batting. From what I can see, I think he's a good batter too. So that's. Are
you saying that Babar Azam's ahead of Williamson?
No. I think they're number 1 and number 2. Williamson. I think Williamson is miles ahead. Root looks good at the moment. He batted well, Root, in his test. But I think.
But KL Rahul trumped him. KL Rahul trumped him.
Yes, probably, yeah. But I think Williamson is just what Straw. Do you not agree with that, Norman? Is number 1?
Williamson.
Yeah.
Well, his team has won the World Test Championship, and he played well in both innings in that match. In fact, he was the backbone of both of their innings. That was the reason why they won. Yes.
Yeah, I
quite
think
frankly, New Zealand wouldn't have won that match without Williamson. I don't think.
No, their bowlers had some say about that, but yeah, I think he's very good.
Just quickly, Suradip Malik, Van der Dusen is a good player. Oh God, I think he's rubbish. I think the South African batting unit as an entirety is garbage.
Averages not far off 80 in his one-day career. Normally, he's had a good start. He's their best batter at the moment. Van der Dusen.
Their whole South African batting lineup is a mess. They lack in Test cricket. They're horrific. Their bowling line is pretty strong, but the batters they're missing. The AB de Villiers, Amla. I mean, there's some great players. You can't replace them quickly, I can assure you.
Andrew Engel, when I repent my comments on Pan, I want you to be on here and I will eat some humble pie if I have to.
You will certainly be eating more than humble pie.
If I'm wrong, I'm sure Andrew will tell me. I'm not saying that Pan isn't a good player. I'm saying that he can't just come out and slog. It doesn't do him any favours. It doesn't do his team any favours. And he's got to be better. If he's going to play Test cricket over a long period of time, he's got to play better than that. It's not good. I can't bear watching it. I didn't mind watching the Indian tail do it, the last 3, because they're not great batsmen. They came out and had a swing. It was very entertaining. It was very entertaining for half an hour, wasn't it? It was going all over the place. But Pant should be better than that. Look at the way Jadeja batted. God's sake.
But Williams hasn't played that much hasn't played that well in the subcontinent. He hasn't quite dominated the subcontinent.
But Williamson? No, well, I just think he's the best player. What do we think about the bowlers
the state of play at the moment is England are 70 runs adrift of India's first inning score. They haven't lost a wicket though. What do you think the result's going to be in this match? Forgetting rain.
I think it's going to be a draw.
Forget the rain.
I think it's going to rain, and I think it's going to be a draw. You asked me what I think the result. I think it's going to be a draw.
I don't think the two teams will last 2 days in their batting.
I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a rain-affected draw. If there was no rain, I think England would probably second dig round get maybe 220 to 230 max because they're not very good. And that would leave India needing about 130, wouldn't it? And we haven't got Ian Botham or Bob Willis. That's for the youngsters out there. Sorry.
So
when Australia choked ahead in
that 220, 230 and 150 can be knocked off in 2 days.
I just think it's going to rain, Norman. I saw the forecast and there's rain about.
It's a crying shame for India because they deserve to win this match. The way
they have. But if England scrape out with the draw, then it's all to play for, isn't it? Who knows?
Can I just make an interesting point? The last video that
it's the first time for everything, Norman.
Yeah. The last time we went live, or second last time we went live, we went close to 19,000, 20,000 watching. But what was most interesting was we had so many people watch live as it happened, but we had close to 7,000 people watch it post it going live. It's quite impressive, actually.
Have we had a good amount watching tonight, Norman? Watching to me spout on a load of rubbish or not?
What?
Have we had a good audience tonight? I haven't seen the figures.
Yeah, it's 11,000 at the moment, 12,000.
That's very good.
So David Gravely, what a pleasure having him on, and a partner. I like the way people come in and out. I like that.
Yeah,
You know?
Munchie's still watching. I'm surprised he's managed to get out of his 400-acre estate. He's got a lot of work to do on it.
He played some little reckless shots in the World Tour Championship. He needs to change his game for the.
I assume he's talking about punt there. I think he's talking about punt, is he?
I know it is. But you're coming in hard on him. You're coming in hard on him.
I don't disagree with Andrew about Sam Curran the last time India were here. He played aggressively, but he was batting with the lower order. Jadeja today, once the wickets went down and he was batting lower order, had a bit of a slog at it as well. He played some pretty sloggy shots, but that's because the tail was in and he had to do it. And that's not.
But it was a very significant batting performance at that stage.
No issues with that. They're not listening. People aren't listening to what I'm saying. Pant came in at 112 for 4 from 97 for 0. You just lost 4 wickets for 12 runs. The ball was doing everything. And the second ball he faced, he ran down the wicket and tried to slog Anderson into the mid-wicket stands and top edged it over point. Second ball.
Yeah.
I don't mind you doing that if he's batting with Bumrah.
But India scored 278 runs, 95 more than England did.
Yeah, but not thanks to Pant, they didn't. Thanks to Jadeja batting beautifully for 50-odd.
Munchie, you're not supposed to subscribe to Pant Mania. You're supposed to subscribe to Eyes on Cricket. That's all. Okay.
I'll tell you what, Munchie would never have done that second ball. Munchie was a proper all-rounder.
So Garrett Banker and I are on the same page. He said, Punt has more match-winning centuries in Australia than any current English batsman. Boom, boom.
Maybe the case. I don't know who's in the England side. Joe Root would have scored hundreds in Australia, wouldn't he?
Oh, here we go. I like Amity 99 as well.
Well, Norman would have James Anderson retiring already, and he bowled pretty well in this test.
Do you think James Anderson wants to become the leading wicket taker of all time?
Yes, but he won't, because he can't score. He can't get another 180 test wickets to get past Murali. So James.
Do you think he wants to beat Shane Warne?
I think he wants to beat Murali as well. I don't doubt that he wants to do it. He's got that mentality. He's got that desire mentality to do it. But he age isn't on his side, is it? But he's fit as a flea, and he bowls some absolutely beautiful deliveries. Christ.
Is this true? Has Joe Root not scored a century in Australia?
I don't know. Probably not. He might not have done.
That's pretty poor. That's pretty poor.
Yeah. Yes. Well, we've been pretty poor in Australia for a long time, Norman, haven't we?
Oh well, Cook and Strauss. And when Cook and Strauss, there was the other player that played.
Peterson Bell would have played in that series, wouldn't they? Peterson and Bell would have been. Their pal Trot.
Trot was a Pujara, wasn't he? Really?
Yeah, I mean, we played well 2011, wasn't it? Although the secret of that was also the bowling we picked. If you
he won't if England have keep dropping catches. He's right. Yeah. Actually, the Sibley was a shocker, and Joe Root he got a catch later on, but that was a pretty ordinary.
Got to catch him. Catches win matches. Who hasn't heard that expression? Catches win matches.
Yes. And run-outs also, which was only one good run-out from Bears.
We missed the stumps a few times today. The Indian running between the wickets was pretty shocking.
It
was exciting to watch, though, wasn't it?
But this is no one has no hundreds of Australia. That's not true. I beg your pardon. What are you talking about?
I've got to tell you, fans, Amity, I haven't got 100 in Australia either. And that's not a surprise.
I've taken wickets on the SCG and MCG. Thank you very much. What about Ridham and Saha? Ridham and Saha's history.
I'll tell you what, Norman. The first time I went into bat in Australia up in Perth was on a hat trick. I went in on a hat trick ball, and they surrounded me. Everyone surrounded me. I had every player on the field.
Do you think they surrounded you because you're a bad batter? Was that
the reason? Well, that was the hat trick ball. It was a hat-trick ball.
But despite that, would they still surround you as well?
Well, I doubt it. Not quite as bad. But so everyone is surrounded the bat, and the hat-trick ball's going to be bowled, and it's a bright sunny day in Perth, and the bowler started to run in, and he's just about to get into delivery. So I said, sorry, I pulled away. I said, sorry. And I
what ground was that?
At Mount Lawley.
Mount Lawley.
Mount Lawley, one of the top sides in Perth.
Isn't that in South Australia?
No, they're in Perth. Mount Lawley.
Mount Lawley, okay.
Yeah, in Perth. So I pulled away just as the ball was getting to delivery stride, and I pointed the silly mid off, who was had a shape similar to you, Norman. And I said, "Excuse me, could you remove your stomach shadow from the middle of the pitch, please?" Which made everybody laugh. Because
this is true. Arnold General, he said, no one has gully cricket triples and hundreds in Sri Lanka. I do. I smacked Tripali Wirikoti all over the joint. The video's on my YouTube channel. Worth watching, guys. Beautiful cut shots, pull shots. Tremendous.
Norman,
have you seen that? Reg, have you seen that video?
No, because it sort of breaks my heart to cricket purists to watch you bat, Norman.
Watch the video. Go watch the video.
I need to go, Norman. It's 8 o'clock. Do you mind if I dive off and have some?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock in the morning here. So World Cup semi-final, India, Pakistan, West New Zealand. I think that's pretty close to right. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Although England have got a few injury problems, haven't they? No, Archer. Definitely no Archer. Wokes should be back soon, I heard today.
That's a big one. I think he's significant.
Yeah.
How soon?
He thinks he will be fit for the third test, but he won't get any cricket. That's the problem. And it's hard as a bowler to have no cricket and come in and play.
Oh, he's pretty good though.
Yeah. He is good. He would have given India a few headaches in this test on this wicket. I think he's bowling pretty well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. So I predict this will be a draw in this test match because I think they're probably going to get 30 overs in tomorrow, and I think.
You're judging that based on the rain?
Yes, because I think India will win without the rain.
I thought the conditions were improving tomorrow.
No, I sent you a thing about the weather.
Yeah, but it wasn't as bad as what you're making out, though.
I will. The weather forecast we have had on about an hour and a half ago, which I taped on my fantastic Sky device, and I should go and watch that, and we'll have a look at what tomorrow's. The problem in England is that we're a little island, and the weather can change quite quickly, especially when it showers. It doesn't need. They can hit and miss, but they have forecast showers tomorrow.
So if Chris Wokes comes in, will that mean Broad will go out?
I just don't see him dropping Robinson, Norman. I think he is.
Now Robinson cementing his place very, very quickly.
Well, and therefore you've got to. It's not so much who you. You do it the other. I always do it the other way around. You write in the names of the people who are going to play. So if Anderson plays and Robinson plays, then you've only got one or two other slots. What if
the reality is that Broad may not be here next year in the test scene?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think he's at more risk of losing out his place than Anderson.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Oh, I just think Anderson's a class act. I think he's a very, very good bowler. I mean,
I'll make this clear. I'll make this clear before you go. I've not said that Anderson's not a class act. What I have said is that he should retire on top. That's what I'm saying.
You said he should have retired on top.
That's right.
You said you don't think he should be playing. You think he should be not
He's
playing.
Played 163 tests, for God's sake. I think the only player that's gone past him in terms of numbers of tests is Tendulkar, and he played for 25 years.
Yeah, but Norman, listen to what you're saying. You're saying that Anderson should have retired, and yet today he took 4 for 50 in 24 overs.
But see, he's not retiring on the basis of not playing well. He's retiring on top.
Yes, I understand. He's still on top, isn't he?
Shane Warne could have played for another 5 years and got 1,200 wins.
Just gone past Anil Kumble, who was a cracking bowler. Anil Kumble. He's just gone past.
So you're saying a draw. I'm going to say India's going to win it, and easily. I don't think England will get
easily.
More than 100. Well, England won't get more than 180 if they're lucky, and that means that means they'll give India 95 to chase.
So this is your prediction. A Norman prediction is England 180 all out, India 95 for 3. Would that be?
Yep.
Okay. And if you're wrong,
I won't eat my biscuits, which I have here.
Norman, you don't need any more biscuits.
This is gluten-free biscuits here. This is what you have at 5 o'clock in the morning in Australia.
You need calorie-free biscuits, is what you need, Norman.
It's gluten-free.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to sign off, guys.
All right,
thanks for having me as always.
All right. You've had a good session today.
If you need me for the morning show, I will be more.
Well, Dave is going to be on there, and it's going to be. Well, it's 9:30 your time, which is what? What time is it my time? It's 6:30 my time.
Okay. Yeah. 6:30 your time. Yeah. Well, I hope I see everyone tomorrow.
But then at 10 a.m. tomorrow, which will be, unfortunately, you'll be asleep. That'll be like 1 in the morning. I'm going to be live with Buri Majunda from the Tokyo Olympics. How exciting is that going to be?
Yeah. But goodbye to Suvan. Thank you for the comments. I'm happy to receive all the abuse you want to give me, guys. And if I'm proved wrong, I will say so. But I'll tell you what, I'll always tell you what the truth as I see it.
Hunt's going to make you eat your words, for sure.
Well, yeah. And if I eat my words, then I'm happy to do that. But I always try and be honest and balanced and fair as I see it, Norman. And I can't do better than that, can we?
Balanced implies mentally balanced, does it?
Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
All right, see you later, Rich. Thank you. Now, that's great, guys. We had 4-0, so I don't mind that. But, okay, don't. Sibley technique is not good. You're right. Shashank Kumar Mishra. Now, again, I'm going to tell RVD9. Could you guys please make sure that you actually, the ones that are watching now, to subscribe to the channel, because a lot of you are subscribing, which is much appreciated. But, we had 12 or 13,000 people watch the show. They're not all subscribing. So, that's very unfortunate. We need you all to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell, which means you'll be notified when the next session comes on. I have my @NormKoch, which is my Twitter and my Instagram. Please all, Bawesh Deshpande, who've been on before. One of the team members been thinking of Suraf Kumar to involve in the test series. If he gets the opportunity to do anything to play, could well be there later on. Absolutely. Show sportsman spirit. I do. I think there's a lot to be said about that. So, again, please make sure you do subscribe. It's worth. There is a membership level too, by the way, guys. But subscribing is a good start. Absolutely, we're going well. If you subscribe, I'll eventually, with the membership levels we go through, we'll have the audiences, like a number of the Monty Panasar and the like, who's due to come on very shortly. All right, so. All right, so at this point in time, where is Pretty Apollo? She has her own show now. Or at least I think she has. But I've got a part of Sani on. I've got a whole range of other people. We've got some. We have more of the likes of Anisha, Taka. We've also got Rema Patak been on a number of times. Janitor Shimona was on. Janitor Shimona was on earlier today, which was really, really good to have her on the show. It was a great episode with her. She played cricket at the highest level, has played and is playing. She played internationally for Bangladesh in Asia Cups and various other World Cups. She's also played, please call Harsha Borgley. I will. Harsha and I know each other. We'll get to him very shortly now. At last, our lovely Banster boy shows his genius like Chris Vernon of staying put on wrong statements as Pat. Well, Chris obviously has learned from his dad a little bit, very stubborn. Why this debate about punt at all? I mean, what's the problem with punt batting? Nothing. I don't believe there is anything. He will prove to be an absolute winner. His diamond in the rough style batting is just take a game away from the other team. It's fantastic. There's no issue. I think there's a bit of jealousy perhaps because England's just haven't got their act together. England scored 183. Don't forget. India scored 278. India were in front by 95 runs, and despite the fact that England won for 25 at the moment, there's still so many runs adrift. Even if England gets 180, that'll leave India with only 90-odd runs to get to win this match. The India's in the box immensely. Hamid is better than Sibley. Hamid is better than Sibley. You are right. He is, but they're going to keep Sibley for another test. I don't think they'll drop him that quickly. Basketball is not saying that he's been saying he's been playing a lot of lofted shots of late, which is, it is true. He has been playing some rather overly aggressive innings, perhaps, but sometimes great players go through stages in their performance where they don't play necessarily as well as they should. But I can assure you that Punch will score some amazing. Norman, who, according to you, is the hero of day 3? Jadeja, Bumrah, Anderson, or Robinson? From India's perspective, certainly KL Rahul with Jadeja, certainly both. And Bumrah's, all three of them, they all played very well, a part of this innings. Robinson, certainly, with his five-foot, was certainly a great factor. But I think actually it has to go to the Indian batsman more so. Bumrah's little innings in there was great, but Jadeja was very important. And no, KL Rahul's 84 took the game away from India at this point. The difference is 95 runs, which is virtually what KL Rahul scored. Who's my favourite batsman? I think I've talked about this already many times. There's several of them. I don't have one. Williamson, Root, Kohli, Punt, Smith to a lesser extent, Baba Azam. There's some great players in that mix. That's what you want to know. Any other questions? Robertson is a great prospect. He certainly is. He bowled very well today. Wasn't your typical outswing as well? There was a lot of in-swing going on there. It's right to say that the bowling standards worldwide have gone down. That's why batsmen today are making more runs. No, I actually think it's the opposite. I think the bowling stocks have actually risen and the batting has actually dropped off. That's more my take on that. I would argue. I'm not sure it doesn't go on. I'm trying to get this plugged in on it. I want to trying to get a coffee, guys. Just wouldn't mind a coffee. Just got to try and find where the plug is. Where is it? It's here. It is. I'll try and plug in the hot water to get some coffee going. Because let's just see if we got. Yeah, it's working, which is good. All right, let's go here. Who do you think is the number one test team in the world? Well, India played New Zealand for the World Test Championship. New Zealand won just. You would argue that New Zealand are slightly ahead of India at the moment based on that. But India played New Zealand after this Test series, and I think India are going to do well in this Test series, and they're going to play New Zealand at home and South Africa after that. I think that's where India is going to emerge as the top nation. The depth is amazing. I agree. Now, Abhishek Pratap, Mayank Agarwal was going to be selected in this match ahead of KL Rahul, but he was injured based on a short ball that hit him in the nets prior to the series. He will probably, if India win, which they probably will, and Rahul bats well, which he has, they may keep the same 11 for the second test, which is not detracting from Mayank Agarwal. But if there are failures from Rahane and the like, they may see Agarwal come in and Rahul drop down. India needs to put Pandya and Bhuvi in the batting. Well, Hardik Pandya is probably not going to be there for a while, I think. You're going to find that Shardul Thakur is risen himself above Pandya at the moment, and Pant, of course, is there with Jadeja. So they've got three all-rounders, you could argue, in those three, Shardul, Jadeja and Pant. So Hardik Pandya is probably days are numbered in the Test cricket, to be honest. Short form, he'll still be there. Why is Shardul Thakur ahead of Ishan Sharma? Ishan Sharma was injured, and Shardul Thakur has proven his worth. Even though I go for a duck, he's still quality, and he should be in that side. I don't have to go. So, Keshav, Aria, where have you been? Then I send you the link. I'm rocking the badass look of the beard. Yeah, well, it's just because we're in COVID lockdown here at the moment, and because of the COVID lockdown, we have no barbers open. And I'm not a person that does my regular shaving in front of the mirror in the morning. I'm lazy, so I'm in lockdown, so I'm letting it grow. And it's gone well beyond. My hair's very long too. God, if we're in lockdown for much longer, my beard will be out here somewhere. Argyle was not fit. No, he got hit in the head. He was concussed by a Siraj short ball in the nets, if you haven't heard. How can we see Shardul taking over services, being a little way? He's done a very good job. Oh, you did text me though. I didn't see your text message. Where did you say a text message? So you want to join? Is that what you're saying, Keshav? Hang on. Let me just. Let's get Keshav. Nice, interesting. All right. So I posted the. I wanted to actually see the video of Nathan Ellis, the young fellow. He actually got a Guernsey today. Nathan, we're forgetting. Okay, Australia have been sacked for the third time. Kunal and normally get some sleep. Well, I will. It's 5:30 in the morning. I'm quite happy going for longer because we've got a good audience today, and I don't want to let that audience miss out on some good vibes. It's quite interesting. We've got good numbers here. Okay. Yes, that's correct. But Test cricket won't work like that. Okay, that's like Sehwag never going to respect McGrath, Brett Lee, and State. Some of the guys. Look, Sehwag was amazing. Gilchrist was amazing. Punt is amazing and will be amazing. He is in that league without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. You've got some amazing performances there from that man. Quite phenomenal, actually. Quite phenomenal indeed. All right, so what have we got here? Be respectable. If you've got a talent to hit balls, Kohli is not. Exactly, that's right. Ishant Sharma was not picked because he was not 100%. Actually, to be honest with you, Rahane had a hamstring problem and Kohli had a back problem. So they aren't exactly at their 100% either, to be honest. Why is Kohli failing in England? He got out first ball to a very good ball that he shouldn't have played and he still got the edge. Kohli will come back, don't worry. I think that Pujara's a bit like Kohli. They're getting a very good. They're not used to good opening partnerships. And that's another thing. Pujara probably would like to be out there a bit early, but doesn't like waiting around. Pujara's going to come good. So is Virat Kohli. Rahane is my only worry. I don't know why Rahul Dravid and Sachin are called great batsmen. Well, Rahul Dravid was the rock. His defence was probably the leading defence in the world. And Sachin played for 25 years at the top level, scored more centuries than everybody else, and he's played 200 test matches. That's why they were greats. Would it be right to rest Pujara? Pujara wouldn't like that, but maybe that when Agarwal comes back in either next test, maybe they will freshen him up. Maybe a possibility. Not a bad idea actually, but maybe he needs a bit of freshening up. But then he had a fairly big long gap of time as we speak, so how can there be a comment for that one? Okay, let's have a look here. Yeah, so all right. What do we got here? I'm losing track of the. Some word on KL Rahul's. KL Rahul's absolutely fantastic today. He learnt when to let go of the ball, which Kohli and Pujara need to learn. He let go of the ball. He did not play outside. Very, very measured because he does like having a go-to. He was very much a test player in the way he played. It's extremely important innings. It really, 84, it's pity he didn't get his century, actually. But he looked particularly solid. Now, again, the key to batting in England is to let the ball go late. To also, meaning watching the swing of the movement of the ball. Keep the ball under your eye, under your helmet right below and also to come on the front foot. So I've got Keshav here. You're not on. I can't see you.
Yes, I can't see you either.
Now you're there. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Audiences are very good. I'm into the 20,000 mark. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Yes. I mean, these days, the traffic seems to be good on most of the channels.
Yeah. So are you getting 20,000 on your channel? No.
I don't have those many subscribers, right? But given I have just 2,500 subscribers so
all
far.
You had to say, Keshav, all you had to say to me is, yes, that is good. That's all you had to say. You didn't have to say other channels are going well too. That's not what you're supposed to say. You didn't take the hint, did you?
No, what I meant was people are turning out more because of India doing well. I've seen this thing. When India does well, the traffic on cricket YouTube channels is more.
I think you have to, but the traffic's good if you've got quality, you've got something to listen to too. They're not fools. People don't just watch for no reason.
That's true.
I can assure you, there are certain things that don't work regardless whether you've got large traffic or not, to be honest with you. Yeah. And it's also just not the numbers of people that actually watch, it's how long they watch for. I'm not sure if they've seen that stat. If people watch for more than 3 or 4 minutes on average, that means generally your audience are watching a longer time. So what are you going to contribute today? Keshav, you tell me what your thoughts are.
I felt India did a few unexpected things. Like you don't expect Shami, Siraj and Bumrah to contribute more with the bat than Kohli, Pujara and Rahane. Kohli, Pujara and Rahane together made 9 runs, and Bumrah, Siraj and Shami made 39 runs if I'm not wrong. So that's something which you never expect from India, tail doing good. So that way, I think we are lucky to have got a 95 runs lead. Nobody could have expected that when we were 120 for 4. So,
but in all fairness, KL Rahul 84, Jadeja's 50 odd were brilliant. And they weren't the tails.
I think Jadeja definitely proved and justified his selection over Ashwin. Because if India had to play just one spinner out of 2, and if the conditions were not spin friendly at all, then it always had to come down on who can contribute with the bat more down the order. And Jadeja,
I don't think it was actually based on being spin friendly or not. To be honest with you, I think it was the appropriateness of a left-hand batter, namely Jadeja, being selected and his left-arm bowling. Although he hasn't bowled that much, it was his left-arm batting that was important against the England bowling. And it's well documented that the left-arm batters performed quite well. And that's one of the reasons why. Ashwin's batting is certainly up to speed. He batted very well, of course, in the match, the 3rd test in the SCG with Vihari. So it's actually the left-arm batting and the fielding and ultimately the bowling, the left-arm bowling, which were the key issues of why Jadeja's been picked, and he proved that.
Yeah, I think that's what I was coming to. It was always the batting that probably would have aided the selection of Jadeja over Ashwin, because Ashwin, he's no mug with the bat, but he cannot really counter-attack the way Jadeja did today. So that's where, and also, of course, as you said, left-handed batsman. India's top 5 is all right-handed, and then you have Pant and Jadeja as left-handed. So if this was completely and plainly based on who's a better spinner, then I think Ashwin is a better spinner. If you just look at the bowling,
there's no doubt whatsoever that Ashwin's a better spinner. We know that. That's England have not selected any spinner, which was a mistake. But they haven't utilised that yet. I mean, spin bowling doesn't necessarily need a spin-friendly wicket. Their job can be to contain, to provide that variety, and to allow the fast bowlers to come from one end, as did Shane Warne for a lot of years with Glenn McGrath and the like. So it's more than just simply being a spin-friendly pitch. There's suggestions that Ashwin will play for the 2nd test at Lord's. I actually don't think that India should change the team whatsoever. They should keep the same 11. They've got a great mix. Shardul Thakur has been fantastic as a selection. He didn't get runs, but he's by far and away a good foil for the side. He, to me, should be he's going to take the mantle of Hardik Pandya, to be honest with you. That's my opinion of Shardul Thakur. He is going to be in that position.
Yeah, I think it's too soon to say that, but he's definitely on the right track. You can't really put him in the category of Pandya or Stokes as yet, but maybe a Chris Wokes, he can play that kind of a role down the order with the bat for India.
Well, I'm talking about replacing Hardik Pandya specifically, not
Yeah.
replacing. He's going to be. His batting is very good. Don't you remember the 60 he scored on his second match in Australia under incredibly difficult conditions? He and Washington, they were fantastic.
The body of work is very less to actually judge him right now with the bat. Definitely with the ball, he's a better bowler than Hardik Pandya. But in terms of batting and to categorize him as an all-rounder, I think it will be too early. So let's give him a season in that space.
Yeah, but I'm afraid that's why he was selected as an all-rounder.
Maybe a bowling all-rounder, not a batting all-rounder.
No, that's still an all-rounder though.
It's not a out-and-out all-rounder like what a Stokes would do for England, but probably.
I'm not comparing Ben Stokes because Ben Stokes is a different category altogether. What India have got is a mixture of batting and bowling all-rounders. They've got Jadeja, who is probably a batting all-rounder, and certainly Charles the bowling around. It's very clever to do that. And Rishabh Pant is also an all-rounder because he's not just a keeper, he's an upper order batsman now. So the reality is they have three variations of all-rounder on the side. I think it's a fantastic form of selection. You don't have to necessarily have one Ben Stokes. You, in fact, have, with cricketing experience that I have had, you need players that play various aspects. You either have a batting or a bowling all-rounder, and in this case now a keeping all-rounder has emerged. So it's a great mix between the three of them. Although Shardul Thakur didn't get runs this time, he will get runs when needed in future times. You watch.
Okay, let me ask you this. So when India was playing WTC final and, they had announced their 11 and you said it was probably the best 11 they could have picked because those 5 bowlers are your best wicket-taking bowlers, right? I remember you saying that.
It's a great balance of team, actually.
Yeah. So at that time, you were of the opinion that you should always select your best wicket-taker bowlers on any surface. Doesn't matter if it's spinner or fast.
A World Test Championship, even though Jadeja didn't play as well, nor did Bumrah, nor did a number of players, they didn't have probably enough time in England to get their act together. But at the time, the 2 spinners were the right selection because that was also on a ground in Southampton where it probably was going to favour that type of bowling attack. The reality is England didn't go on with any spinners in their 2 matches against Zealand and they failed miserably. New Zealand just simply had they had their best team on the park. They had not good enough spinners to play. They played 4 fast bowlers and they won the match. The reality was Williamson's batting was the key to that. He batted well in both innings.
But my question is different. My question is if out of the whole Indian squad at that time you thought the best combination is those 5 bowlers.
I still think that now. But Ashwin,
now you're saying that India should continue without Ashwin in this test and next test.
No. But when you select it, if you talk to Neil Harvey, who you haven't spoken to, who was the leading selector of all time, you stick and you pick and stick. You do not change every single time. They've made a decision going in this test series to not have Ashwin for the first test, and that's the second test. It's not based on his ability or being the best bowler. It's an appropriate mix of players. I'm not changing my mind. I happen to know a lot about cricket, Keshav, and I don't know what you're implying. It's actually annoying me that you're trying to test my knowledge of cricket. I'm actually getting quite angry. In fact, I'm not enjoying having you on the show today because since you've been on, my viewership's gone down from 100 to 20. And that's telling me that the conversation's not very good. I'm very tempted to actually. I'm very tempted to say. No, I'm tempted to say that you actually have also come on and knocked my numbers and said, "Oh, everybody else is going well," as opposed to acknowledging my show. I'm actually. If you're telling me that you and your other friend, who I'm not going to mention, is starting to think that there's a jealousy about or something, it really is becoming obvious. You've come on within 2 minutes and you've told me, oh, everyone else is doing well. Why have you belted on the door to come on my show today? Can you explain me that?
Norman, I'm just
No, hang on. You've just come on my show and insulted me when things are going well and told me, oh, everyone else is doing well. Do you actually know what you're talking about? Do you actually know what you're talking about? Because I'm actually pretty upset with what you've just said to me. I'm not enjoying this at all, mate. If you're going to come on my show, it's my platform. I don't go on your platform and say, oh, everybody else is doing well. I'm afraid that's really insulted me. And you don't even have your cricketing knowledge is not as good as you think. And you've just told me that I've contradicted myself with the way I've talked about cricket. I happen to know a lot about cricket. And I was actually right because based on my knowledge and the Indian knowledge, they didn't put Ashwin in the side. That was a very clever move. They've put Shardul Thakur, it's a bit too early to talk, he's a bit of an all-rounder. He is an all-rounder. Are you kidding me that you're saying, oh, we're going to wait on that? What are we waiting for? Don't you see don't you understand the way you play with Washington and Australia? Everything you've said in the last 5 minutes is crap, to be honest with you. I'm not impressed. You've actually countered me with arrogant lines, which actually ticked me off. You've told me 3 or 4 things which have ticked me off. Since you've been on, my viewers have gone down 70. Why is that? It's not because of me, because I've been here the whole time. So you get off your high horse and think that you're pretty damn good, and whoever you're talking to at the moment who's thinking you're that good and who you've got some real problems. I'm really upset. You should apologise. If you like to play back this and watch what you said later, you'll realise how ridiculous it is. Okay?
I'll still apologise to you if I unknowingly...
We're going to have to apologise big time because I'm very close to knocking you off the channel, not bringing you back again. Okay? I don't appreciate the way you've just spoken to me.
You can ask your audience. You can ask your audience right now. If I did anything wrong, you can ask them right now.
I'm afraid I'm the one who judges whether you've done something wrong to me because it's me that's just heard it. So you're actually telling me that you didn't do anything wrong? And the audience is going to tell me otherwise?
If unknowingly I did anything wrong, I apologize.
Well, then do not say to me the things you've just said to me. 3 things you've said to me. You went 1, 2, 3. I think you have to realise that. You've just told me that I contradicted myself about the selections.
No, I never used that word, Norman.
You just said to me, I said before this, now I've said this. That's a contradiction.
I was coming to a question whether you were surprised by Ashwin getting dropped or not, and
I was not shocked about Ashwin getting dropped. I never said that.
That was my question, Norman. You
I actually, if you were listening to my shows, you would see that I said that Jadeja was on the side and Ashwin will not play.
Norman, I'm sorry. I had no intentions, but I think I should leave. You are not really wanting me here today. I'll leave. Thank you.
Well, you need to actually realise that you've told me yourself the only reason why you come on is to get viewers to come to your channel. That's not why you come on a person's platform. We're a community of people that works together.
I didn't say
about you and me getting less or more. Okay. I find it really offensive.
Norman, you can look at the comments also. People are saying, is this serious, Norman?
That's one. I'm afraid he's probably one of your friends because you do bring friends on the comment about your friend. The fact is, the reality is you have to realise what you said to me was not correct. Okay? I don't appreciate it.
I'm still sorry, okay? I'm sorry if I offended
you. You obviously don't acknowledge it because you tried to get someone as a viewer to try and add a comment in. You just said, now, I'm afraid you have to apologise and realise, have a look at the video later and judge yourself because I'm not impressed.
I apologise still. I unconditionally apologise to you if you're offended by any of my doings. But Norman, it was never my intention to offend you or hurt you.
Well, then you need to have a think about what you say before you say it because what you said was offensive. Okay? Very simple.
Okay, if it's offensive to you, I apologize. It was never my intention. And I am so sorry for coming today asking you. And you said if my cricketing knowledge is not as good as I think it is, then I don't think I should stay here anymore. So thank you, Norman. Bye-bye.
Yeah, good. Sorry, guys, but I don't like someone coming on my program, demanding to come on my program and then saying things which are just counterintuitive. Sorry, guys. I don't know why I put him on the show. I apologise for that. I like people to come on the show and encourage and talk good things, not to say that's wrong, that's wrong. I want good banter. I don't want destructive banter. I'm sorry, Angel. Yeah, if you realise what he said, I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate that. Sorry, guys. I won't bring someone on the channel again that's just, saying things about, if things are going well, they go, oh, everybody else is going well. Rajik, but tell me, I don't know, I've not mentioned before, Baraj, you can talk to me about coming on later, but it's actually not sarcasm from me. No. Yeah, so thanks, Richard. Richard has made a comment that I don't know. Did you, Richard? I think you might want to say that was. I don't know where that was coming from. I mean, yeah, it really annoyed me. I don't bring people on my show to just try and pull me apart. This man who was just on the show, he's friends with a certain woman I won't go into. There's this petty jealousies about certain things and come on and saying, terrible. I think it was fantastic, guys. I think I love the way Jadeja performed it. He was very, very, very much appreciated. Who was he? It was a drop kick. That's who he was. He's somebody just not appreciating at all what he said. He needs to go back and have a look at it. So why Matthew Wade is constantly playing? He's out of form. I totally agree. Such the Bulgaria. The reality is that Matthew Wade was dropped from the test side. He has been in the one-day T20 floating around. Alex Carey was given the captaincy because of Aaron Finch being injured. And then Alex Carey's actually playing the T20 team. But then, strangely, Matthew Wade was given captaincy and he hasn't worked at all. He's had 3 failures on the trot. And they've failed dismally against the Bangladesh side, which is good at home and probably not up to the standard that Australia would have expected. But, yeah, it's pretty awful, actually. It's my pleasure to join the show, and I love all my guests. But what I don't, and I think you'll appreciate this, guys, you don't like someone coming on and going, "Oh, things are going really well. Oh, everyone's going well." What sort of comments that? It's a bizarre form of jealousy. I don't know what that is. He's only coming on the show because he wants viewers for his own show, and I've seen that right through him, and I'm not impressed. I don't like people to do that. You don't jump channels because you want viewers from that channel. You come on we're a community of people. There are some amazing people out there in the world of hosts, and we all encourage each other. We all want to do well because this is a community trying to share our passion for cricket. I've been on for 2 odd hours. I don't like someone knocking on actually forcing me to try and go on the show. They're coming on the show and they're knocking me. You don't do that. I don't go into your home and then abuse you. I'm there to help. I love my passion for cricket. So, okay. Be cool and positive. Normal. Take a deep breath. You're right. I just don't like that. That's my way. The reality is that you don't come on and you do good things. Back to the series here. Australia, certainly, you didn't annoy me. I mean, you did nothing wrong. I mean, no, you did nothing wrong. It was more that he was looking towards any comment that would favour him. It's a bizarre situation. Well, forget that. Okay. Considering present form of India, will it affect them if Woolies, Wokes, and Moeen Ali? I think there's a fair bit. The fact is that there's a bit of history there, Anush Angel. There's a bit of history there. I'll tell you that another time. Okay. If Wokes and Moeen Ali play in the next test, well, Chris Wokes, I'm not sure he's yet fit enough. He may be getting close to it, but Moeen Ali would be a difference. I think he would, because he can also bat. Big inclusion. But Matthew Wade's not a captain of Australia. That's what I'm talking about. And the keeping positions with Alex Carey. So if he's not keeping, he's not captain. Why isn't his side? He hasn't been scoring very well. Considering the present form of India, will it affect it? And I already talked about that. Well, we can talk later, right? You can send me you can go to my Instagram and my Instagram, what's the other one? Twitter. You can message me on Instagram. Right, just a second. You can message me there and send me an email. We'll talk. All right, guys. So that's all right. I think India have got a great chance of winning, a superb chance of winning. India have a great possibility of winning. I mean, if you've got the situation where India get England all out for 180, let's say, which could well be the case, they'll only be chasing 95 in the last day. I think they're very gettable. So it's India are certainly in the box seat to win this match. And it's really, it's a great. I mean, India are 70 runs. England is still 70 runs behind India, and it's something of a rare moment that you're in that position. And India have got a rain draw Richard Burns. No, it's going to be a victory to India. I still think so. As long as there's enough play, and England go into a similar collapse to they did in the first innings, it can be. I'm afraid room 2, it's completely not true. There's a lot of history in that. If you look very carefully what the man said, you'll see very closely. And there's a lot behind that you don't know about. So you're taking it on the wrong judgment. There's a great chance. He got insulted as a guest. He insulted me 3 times before I told him that I had enough. I'm afraid that is wrong. It's actually wrong. He insulted me 3 times leading up to that. I had enough. Okay? If you don't see that, that's fine. Are you a friend of Keshav? Do you actually know the history? You don't. So I'll leave it at that. What are the chances of the West Indies winning the T20 World Cup? Look, great chances. England and India are probably the more favoured teams, but West Indies are right up there. The way they played against Australia, they've shown a great deal of talent. They can put it together on the day. They can beat anyone. The fourth side could well be Pakistan, or it could well be New Zealand. They're my top 4. I don't think Australia and South Africa will actually get into that situation at all. Yeah, that's a good question. The weather. Good AM, Baramarani, where are you? Come on the channel. I need some good light. You want to come on because I've had a horror moment a short while ago. Anyway, can India turn it down the history and make it 4-1, 3-2, win the series? They certainly can. 3-2 is probably more likely. No, Roomton, if you understand, you don't actually know what he was talking about. There were 3 things before that even came up. The Shardul Thakur matter was not what the issue was. Okay? There's a bit of history there. Yeah, I don't get angry with anyone. I'm a great host. I've got great friends through all communities. It's just when someone comes on, we won't go, let's just leave it, guys. Let's forget about that. There's a lot more there. I think India will have a great chance of winning the series, this particular match and the series. India would be the T20 World Cup favourite, yes, with England, and West Indies would certainly be running up behind them. You're half asleep. What time is it, Param? Where you are? Tell us. Can Virat break Tendulkar's record of 100 centuries? Well, he was certainly on track to do that a couple of years ago. He's fallen off a bit lately, so I would argue he could go very close. He certainly is the ODI leading century scorer, I'll tell you that much. Well, as an ODI century scorer for sure. Test cricket, he's a bit behind in the totals. He might go closer. Yes, Jofra Archer's been ruled out of 2021, correct. It's 1:10 a.m. in the morning. It's actually 5:41 a.m. here as well. Why is Australia on your list for the World Cup? Well, having a 999, you've just seen them lose 3-0 so far to Bangladesh. They didn't beat West Indies at all. They were beaten 4-1 by the West Indies, 3-0 by Bangladesh. these are the last matches they've got before they actually go into the World Cup. I don't know where they're going to find the other players from. It's only Glenn Maxwell potentially, and perhaps Warner, and maybe Stoinis will come into the side. They're lacking a lot, certainly. Aussies will qualify for they're in the World Cup, but they will not be in the semi-finals, is what I said. West Indies is winning the T20 World Cup, man. They are shocked to see Aussies lose just 4 wickets down and still lose. Absolutely. And they're only chasing 127. Exactly. They were 1 down for 70 odd and looked like they were cruising, and they just couldn't get their act together. They're in a real hole. It's a real hole. Well, we did talk about this before, I think, Rahul. At this stage, well, there could well be a few. It could be Rahul be one, but Virat Kohli's meant to be opening for the T20 World Cup, and Shikhar Dhawan's not far away as well. So and Shubman Gill's maybe floating around if he's fit. In this series, good question. Who's the highest run scorer in this series? Or if KL Rahul continues to bat the way he will, he could well go close. Root will probably go close as well. I don't know who you are, room team. Would you get off the Keshav comment, please? Change topics, okay? Aussies will have Maxwell, who can both bat and bowl sloppy, bowl 4 overs. England can't. But I was like, that's partly true. Ben Stokes is the one that they're going to have to worry about. He may not be able to play this time, maybe. Yeah, I think so. This is a pretty. Kohli's in for the series. Kohli's in long term. Let's not talk about him. He'll captain. I think I've talked before about this. He's the most successful captain with 59%, only behind the likes of Graham Smith, Williamson currently, and also Steve Waugh. So he'll be in for a long time. Pujara, I think, will come good. Rahane is my worry, because the way he's been getting out with some pretty poor run-outs and poor selection of shots, Pujara's getting out with some pretty good delivery, so that's more the issue there. The worst I've ever seen, I agree. It starts from Gabba there, morale goes down day by day, really disappointing. Yeah, it's imploding for a long time, you're right. It probably goes back to the sandpaper gate scenario. I think that's where it really fell apart. Really, really fell apart. Really fell apart with the sandpaper gate. Yeah, that's where it really first started about. If pitchers going to play big in the World Cup, then even Afghanistan are a really gun side, don't they? And they've got a great spin bowler, as we know. Rabada, Nagidi, Norjay can bowl in the Jew and the UAE. Shamsi, Lind, and pretty good spinners. Will Faf play? I don't think he will play the semi-finals for sure. Now, Manas Darwin, I'd like to see that the case, but I'm not seeing South Africa figuring, as I'm not seeing Australia or Sri Lanka for that matter, even being left. Really, I think New Zealand, well, England, India and West Indies, and the 4th spot's up for grabs between the Pakistans and the New Zealands. South Africa and Australia, it's not going to be their series. Yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, Pujara's a funny one. He's been an incredibly important batsman. He scored over 6,000 test runs. We can't knock his performances. Yeah, really, since Sandpaper Gate has fallen apart. Going back to sleep. Okay, go back to sleep. Should Anderson complete 700 wickets? Well, he's just got 621. That means he's got to get 70 or 80 wickets. It's going to be very hard to do that in a 12-month period, because I think he'll probably retire this time next year on a high, which is what he should do. There was a time when Australia used to win at home and away. What was happening to Australia cricket? team after Ponting has left. Yeah, probably a bit deep down the track. Yeah, they've had some problems, haven't they? It really is the sandpaper gate, which was a milestone moment, losing Warner and Smith like that, and even Bancroft, even though he's not playing anymore. Yeah, there's been some real issues around. It's around captaincy. Tim Payne's been a very good stopgap captain. Aaron Finch has done a good job with the short form, but they've got no one to the next stage, really. I still reckon someone like, I keep mentioning Jason Sanger should be the one they should consider. I'm not against Australia. I'm Australian. I'm from here, but their batting lineup is a mess. Their bowlers, they're not sure who they're bowling. Got three keepers on the side: Wade, Philippe, and Carey. They're mixing and matching. Really, Alex Carey should be the captain and keeper. If Aaron Finch is not there, Matthew Wade shouldn't be in the side. Philippe should just stick to batting. Yeah, thank you very much for that. I mean, I'm a very warm host. I just don't like someone trying to get on my show and then coming on there and being sarcastic. And you may not have seen that, but I know what he's. We'll talk about. I don't want to bring it up. Which team is better? Current test form, home and away. Richard Vernon, who's normally on the phone, says he expects Ashes Australia will win the Ashes. There'll be a big bounce back. It's going to be led by Labuschagne and Smith, and perhaps Warner, but they're a long way from that at the moment. You can't judge it, and Smith won't be captain. Yeah, I agree with that, and because he wants the captaincy back, and he thinks by foregoing the World Cup and all the other formats that he's going to play IPL because of the money, but he's foregoing that because he wants the captaincy back. That's his ultimatum. And no, I don't like the way he's doing that. Why not? Yeah, the sandpaper controversy was terrible. Yeah, I think Sam Curran could warrant a bit more of the order. I can see your point there. Not unlike Ben Stokes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Steve Smith has had some great batting form. He should make the side for Australia as a batsman, yes. But his captaincy's under question because of the way that Warner overtook things, and that was quite disturbing. I think that's not going to happen again. Virat Kohli is one of the best captains India's ever had, having won 59% of the time, and a great batsman. England have got a great chance, but they've got to sort their batting out, and they're doing it in this series. They've got to sort their batting out, which will be a stepping stone for the test. Without Ben Stokes, without Jofra Archer, they're in trouble. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Nathan Lyon certainly has been underrated for his short format play, and I don't really appreciate that at all. I think Nathan Lyon should be in the side. I agree. Key leader point. Yes, this is a great point. They need a key leader. Since Smith fell over at the time, as we know, it really did show a lot of concern. I think they haven't recovered since. Tim Payne's been a good interim captain. He's done well, but his future's probably going to end in a series. And Aaron Finch, I still think Aaron Finch is the best replacement. But it's not necessarily been agreed upon by other people. But he's got the respect of the room. That's where I think the key is with Aaron Finch. Alex Carey seems to be quality as well between the two of them. But Steve Smith is not going to be able to get it back easily because not that he's not a good player, he's one of the best batsmen in the world, if not the best batsman in the world at the moment. But it's more to do with his captaincy has been questioned after Sandgate and Sandpaper Gate, and he may have missed his chance now. The biggest Ashes of the World Cup, the biggest World Cup, I still think the 96 World Cup with Sri Lanka was amazing. That was a great result from an underdog. India winning in 11, that was also great. And that back in 83 was great. Back in the 70s was great. There's a lot of World Cups. Ashes series, well, when both of them turned the Ashes series around, that was amazing. And the 2005 was quite dramatic, although England were the winners of that one. Yeah, that's true. His batting is a bit lacking. But he still has the quality. They haven't given him enough of a chance with his batting. Yeah, I think Nathan Lyon certainly deserves a Guernsey in the World Cup. He'd be a good selection behind Adam Zampa's quality. Adam Zampa's real quality. And guys, I only get upset when there's something was not right, and then when somebody goes 1, 2, 3 at me, it was not done for banter or great conversation. I'm not impressed with what was said. I don't want to bring it up. I don't want to be a part of that problem. All right. This is a decline of Mitchell Stark's career. Well, Mitchell Stark's best years are behind him now. Yes, he has a great career, though. Pat Cummins is still up there, and Hazelwood's pretty much up there. Pattinson probably hasn't been given enough of the Guernsey. Where's Xavier Doherty? He's retired. He's probably 40 on now. Well, why Australian players get high purse in APL? Your view, sir? It's box office. It's the blonde factor. I'll jokingly call it the Watson factor, the Brett Lee factor. There's a bit of Bollywood about it, a bit of box office about them. And their play, yeah, there's always been a thing about India really lording over some of the Australian players. That's changing, I can assure you. That is changing. Only Maxwell and even Warner's not really as big as he used to be either. I don't think he was unceremoniously dropped from the Sunrisers Hyderabad side this year. He did win a few years back in 16. He did a very good job, 16, 17. I'm not sure what he was, but he did a great job then. But yeah, Australia's, yeah, it's true. They were certainly high purse. Hayden Gilchrist Ponting, Brett Lee, Simon's childhood heroes. Yeah, they certainly were. And now you had heroes in Warner and Smith, but the Sandpaper games ruined them. I think, I'm sorry, and then you're not going to get over them. Well, they're both not going to be, well, at least Warner won't be captain again. Smith is trying to be, but I don't think he will. Well, I don't know. Mitch Marsh didn't play this, did he? He decided not to play in the IPL and was given a chance to play for Australia, so he chose that route. Mitch Marsh is interesting. I'm not sure he pulled out and he was injured. I think he was injured. That was the reason why he didn't play. In the T20, oh my God, there's quite a few Indian players in T20. Oh my God. Rohit Sharma, when he's going, is phenomenal. Punt, when he's going, is phenomenal. Ishan Kishan was great. Sky Kumiyala was great as well. There's quite a few. Sanju Samson bats well too. I like the look of him. I haven't seen a lot of a few of the others, but there's an immense number of T20. A lot of Indian players. A.B. de Villiers for sure would be well up there. Maxwell at his best also. Two brilliant guys. Why Ashes, Aussies are not. Every time that guy's on the show, by the way, he then contacts every single other person on the show and tries to befriend them. You don't do that. We have a community of positive people. You don't want people to undermine. And there's a lot more history than was there. Why Aussies are not promoting new players from Big Bash like Indians? Aussies have lost their chance against both. They must use new players. Indians are not allowed to play in the Big Bash. I don't think Australia would love to have a whole host of the Indian players playing the Big Bash. I don't think they're allowed to by the BCCI, I believe. Steve Smith is father of son Roswell. He's with the Delhi Capitals now. One of the best, but couldn't get his team for a finish. Steve Smith's a great player, great batter, superb player in all formats. He's gone a bit wayward for not based on his ability, based on what's happened. Do Virat Kohli play slow? I don't think Virat Kohli plays slowly. I think he's a great player in all formats. He's the highest T20 run scorer. He can't be slow. Yeah, there are 2 teams being added to the IPL next year. Sorry, Malik. I think it's Gujarat Lions and Pune. Yeah, that's an interesting stat. The follow-on, I mean, the classic follow-on was when Dravid and Luxman batted. Well, that was a sensational match. What a great match. What a superb match. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, I don't know whether it was a 1 or 2 match rest. He was dropped. He was sacked as too hard, however, dropped from captaincy and the team. I don't think it's a rest. There's a lot of dissension there. He said some things while he was up on stage about not even announcing the 4 new players were playing, being very sarcastic about the selections. He was ticking a few people off. I think he lost the respect of the room. Yeah, you could argue that, but it's ebbs and flows. My favourite IPL team. Well, I've always been a Kolkata Knight Riders fan, but in terms of who I think should win the IPL, it'll be the Delhi Capitals, I think. And I like Mumbai Indians, of course, as well. All right, guys, I've gone for quite a long time here today. I may have to chuff off. All right. Well, Luxman, okay. Really, you've got a few in India there. You've got Ishan Kishan and Sky Kumar. Yadav would certainly be in that mix. They're potentially going to do well. Well, in the current Indian team, Agarwal was certainly one that was there. The other fellow who was Krunal, who got the 100, he was heading that way too. Krunal there. Was it Krunal there? I don't think they can win the World Cup, but they certainly can do well. They'll upset some sides, no doubt. Bangladesh have just upset Australia 3-0 in the 5 series. They've done that. They've really, Australia were very, very ordinary. And that's their last few matches. The next 2 matches in this series could be the last T20 internationals that Australia play before the World Cup. Awful form. They've lost 4-1 to West Indies and a 3-0 down against Bangladesh, 2 teams that are not meant to be the favourites. West Indies certainly are, I think, but Bangladesh certainly are not. And that Australia are borderline 6th in the ranking. I don't think that means they won't make the top 4 at least, that's for sure. All right, guys. Thank you. Okay, what would be your finalists for the World Cup? England, India, West Indies. There's 3 that I'm pretty certain will be through. The 4 spots up for grabs between a New Zealand or a Pakistan. They're my 5. Then you've got Australia, South Africa, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. That's my thoughts. And Afghanistan, of course, as well. Yeah, that's all. When was the last time Australia won a T20 international series? That's a great question. We've won ODIs, and obviously ODIs quite a bit. T20, it's been a long time, actually. It's been a long time. I can't remember when it was last. Richard, give me a call in a few minutes. I'm going to call off now. All right, guys. Will Longer be sacked if Langer be sacked if? Well, that's a great question. Will Langer be sacked if they lose 5-0 to the Bengals? No, he probably won't be, but he's going to have a good look at what's going on, I must say. So they're chance to the T20 World Cup, they have just beaten. Okay, that's something. That's certainly there's something in form there, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Do a live chat with us. With us. Who's us? With you, Nikhil. If you want to be a part of my program, I've got an Instagram and a Twitter page there at Norm Koch. Please send me messages there. Look, you look tired. Good night. I think I am tired. I think I've had enough. All right, guys. If you like and share your post, please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Out of the people that are still watching, please subscribe. That would be really appreciated. I don't really, only 5 to 10% of the people that actually watch actually subscribe. So please subscribe. It costs nothing. And also hit the notification button and view, like, and share. And please send it through your WhatsApp. And we'll see each other very soon again. I've been on for a long time, guys. And my Indian 11 for the T20 World Cup. I'll do that in the messages. Okay, I'll do that in the messages. My Indian 11, well, my God, there's 20 players that can make it. Curtain for Wade. Turn not. Christian was very disappointing today. Oh boy, he was very disappointing today. All right, guys. If there's no more comment, I'll get going. All right. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? Well, he's a new player, this Nathan, what's his last name? Nathan, I've got his name already. Young Nathan Ellis. He's a good young bowler. Took a hat trick in his first match. What an amazing start. He's obviously on the rise. We'll see more of him. What's the time my place? It is 6 o'clock in the morning. It's time to go, guys. So all the best. I really want to appreciate your time, guys. I'm sorry for the outburst of that one fellow, but if I say something and you go against me, let me come on my show. Do it with passion and with community in your mind, not to degrade people. I was loath to bring him on in the first place, and it proved to be correct. I was very disappointed with the way that was going on. I'm not like that. You know that. I've been on for 600 videos, and I've had a great time with every single person, and I answer everybody. I love everybody, but I don't like someone who's being outwardly wrong. You guys didn't see what was going on, but I'm afraid it was not good. Once, twice, the third time, that was enough. Okay. What other New Zealand's chance of winning this? The 5 T20Is in Bangladesh. Very good. New Zealand got a good side. They're going to do a lot better than Australia, that's for sure. All right, guys. Let's just see here. Here we go. Just going to... All right, so no more questions, guys. I appreciate your time. It's been a long 3 hours. I really appreciate your time. So if you like and share the post, hit the Instagram and Twitter handles at Norm Koch, and and when you come on, you'll have great community here. I really appreciate. Sai Krishna, I think you'll understand a bit more about what I'm talking about. Sai Krishna knows a bit about this petty. We're not people that come on shows and go to other platforms. You help each other. You don't try to bring people down or think you're better than someone else. You do it to nurture. And I help everyone, but I don't like someone who just out and out just takes people, uses people, and makes comments that are derogatory, and then claims they're not saying it, and then tries to find someone in the audience to support them. That's not what it's about. Yeah, it's well, there's no choice. COVID's created that. I don't think you get it. It's all right. If Australia wins the 220 World Cup, then their cabinet will be full. So certainly will be. They have every trophy. But the 220 World Cup is missing, but they're not going to do it, I'm afraid. All right, guys. All the best. Have a good sleep. Thanks, Sai Krishna. You're a great guy. You've been on my show many times. So, yeah. All right. So, all the best, guys. We'll talk soon again. This is Norman Koshak. Have a good night. Bye, guys. But don't forget to please go to the @Norman Koch for Twitter and for Twitter and for also Instagram. And view, like, and share the post on my YouTube channel. Subscribe and hit the notification button. We'll be on tomorrow early in the morning. So all the best, guys. Okay. Just checking what's going on there. All right, guys. Take it easy. All right. There's just one more thing I've got to do, guys, just to check. Sorry, I won't be sick. Okay. All right, guys, take care. I'm sorry about the little moment there, but I think you respect when you come on someone's show, and I don't think there was. People may not have seen what happened, but I'm normally very good with everybody, you know that. And I don't normally have a problem with people, but I'm not going to take that sort of stuff from anyone. All right, just checking one more time. All right, guys, take care. If you have any questions, any last minute questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll finish the show there. All the best, guys. Take care. Talk to you soon.